magical Pokémon urban system. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, severely injured and dying. However, Liu, who was mining in the mine at this time, would never have thought that someone would come to such a remote place at this time. Time passed slowly, and half an hour later, Niwasapog, Chief, this is where the jade mine with amazing reserves is located. If it weren't for that bastard Zabu, who opposed us everywhere, I could have dug this place clean. A big man in camouflage uniform, who was obviously of high military rank, stepped forward and said respectfully to the leader of the black-clothed man. But what he said was a lot of chatter, and he didn't speak Chinese at all, but English. But think about it, nowadays English is basically popular all over the earth. Although Chinese is also very popular now, it is not easy to learn after all, so there are more countries that speak English, which is also a helpless fact. Humph. Trash. If I hadn't come here in person this time, how long would you have kept it from me? You can't even handle such a small matter. What's the use of you? The cold eyes seemed to be able to penetrate the cloak and pierce the big man directly. The black-clothed leader said without a trace of emotion. Persison. It's my subordinates who are incompetent. Please spare my life, leader. I will mine these jades as quickly as possible. The big man knelt on the ground and begged for mercy, as if he had thought of something terrible. Get up, just take me to the place, and you don't have to worry about the rest. As for how far you are, get out of here, and don't let me see you again. The leader of the men in black waved his hand casually, like chasing away flies, and said lightly, yes, thank you for your mercy. Standing up, the big man led the leader of the men in black and walked towards the mine where Liu was mining. Just when they were 100 meters away from the mine, the leader of the men in black seemed to feel something and suddenly stopped. Chief. The big man wanted to say something, but the leader waved his hand to stop him and then dodged. His speed was comparable to Liu's flying skateboard. Hey, when will this day of mining without seeing the sun end? Sitting in the mine board, Liu kept nagging, and no one talked to him. His elves were busy training, and Liu was embarrassed to disturb them. If he went to practice, he felt very awkward when he was used to the rich spiritual energy in the magical continent and the system world, and suddenly practiced on Earth. He had no desire to practice at all. Just when Liu was doing nothing, a black shadow suddenly flashed by, and then Liu felt that his neck was pinched by someone, and a strong momentum enveloped him. Looking at the mysterious man in black clothes in front of him, Liu's first feeling was that he had met someone from the dark heaven where Kaiyan was. Feeling the other party's powerful momentum and the suffocating feeling, Liu felt like he was facing a wild beast, as if he was about to die. Boy, who are you? Which faction are you from? The leader of the black-clad men asked Liu in a cold tone. Chinese? Hearing the black leader's pure Chinese, Liu didn't know what to say, and Liu, who was being strangled by the neck, couldn't speak at all. Humph. Looking at Liu's pale face, the leader of the black-clad men snorted coldly, and with the hand that was strangling Liu's neck, Liu flew backwards and hit the surrounding stone walls hard. Puff. The violent collision made Liu groan in pain, followed by a severe pain, and a stream of blood rushed up his throat and spit out of his mouth. Boy, you'd better answer my questions honestly, otherwise. The irresistible momentum and pressure descended on Liu, causing Liu, who had just stood up, to stagger and almost fall to the ground again. Go away, damn it. Liu had no time to react to the sudden change, and was directly beaten seriously by the leader of the men in black. His inner anger can be imagined. Liu, whose brain was occupied by anger, for a moment forgot to escape to the system world, or ask Mutuo for help. Humph. Overestimate your own abilities. Looking at Liu's angry eyes, the leader of the men in black snorted coldly, and the powerful momentum impact accompanied his words, directly bombarding Liu. Puff. Spitting out a mouthful of blood again, Liu fell to the ground half dead, and could not stand up again. Last chance. Why did you come here? Where did you put the jade you got? This time the man in black did not beat around the bush, but directly stated his purpose. and his purpose was also for the jade. I won't tell you even if I die, and don't give me a chance. I will make you pay the price next time. Although he couldn't make any movements while lying on the ground, his hateful eyes and cold words conveyed Li Yu's extreme anger at the moment. And just after Li Yu finished speaking, his figure disappeared. Boom. I thought Li Yu had no ability to resist at all, but who knew that he not only didn't ask any answers, but also let Li Yu escape. The devastating attack directly hit the surrounding stone walls and immediately caused the already deep mine to collapse, and all of Li Yu's monster puppets were instantly buried in it. A deep pit with a radius of 100 meters suddenly appeared, and those soldiers were frightened and sat on the ground. Only those men in black still stood around calmly. Dig this place clean for me within 3 days. I don't want any more accidents. A cold voice came from midair, and the leader of the men in black actually floated in the air, obviously a strong man with a strength of at least heaven level. Yes. The men in black hurriedly half knelt on the ground respectfully and shouted in unison. Humph. The figure of the leader of the men in black disappeared in an instant, leaving only the devastated scene, a group of dumbfounded soldiers, and a group of mysterious men in black. Boy, what the hell are you doing? How did you get so badly injured? Are you self-harming? Li Yu, who came to the system space, was now lying weakly on the top of the mountain built by Mutuo. When Mutuo saw the half-dead Li Yu, he was also a little surprised. Although he said sarcastic words, there was a hint of cold anger in his tone. Obviously, after so long of getting along, Mutuo and Li Yu have also developed a certain friendship. If it were any other time, Li Yu might be able to hear the change in Mutuo's tone, but now that he is seriously injured, he has no other mute to distinguish Mutuo's tone. Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment please. Chapter 77 The Conspiracy Begins. Li Yu thought that Mutuo was mocking him, so he just rolled his eyes and was too lazy to speak. Moreover, he was seriously injured now, and he couldn't say more. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to return to the magical continent, and I wouldn't save you. Although he was still saying ruthless words, the superpower directly surged into Li Yu's body, slowly repairing his seriously injured body. In just a few breaths, Li Yu, who was seriously injured and on the verge of death, recovered as before and stood in front of Mutuo with full blood. Well, thank you, Mutuo, otherwise I would really die this time. Thinking of the previous experience, Li Yu patted his chest with some lingering fear and took a deep breath. No need, I'm more interested in how you got so badly injured, Mutuo said lightly. Well, actually it's like this. After telling Mutuo what happened just now, Li Yu thought Mutuo would help him get revenge. But who knew that Mutuo just glanced at him and disappeared. Hey, you are too ruthless, aren't you? Even if you don't help me get revenge, at least help me go home. Because Li Yu entered the system world from the mine, he would appear in the mine after leaving. But Li Yu was worried that the undead Count Caesar of the Demon Heart would still be squatting there. As for why Li Yu knew the information of the leader of the Men in Black, humph, have you forgotten Li Yu's system? With identification in hand, the world is mine. Name, K, code name, Count, strength, royal level 6 introduction, a subordinate force of the Dark Alliance, the third figure of the Demon Heart, the undead Count Caesar. He was originally a Chinese. For some reason, he left his hometown and joined the Dark Alliance. Later, his strength increased greatly, and he entered the upper echelons of the Demon Heart. That's right, just before Li Yu entered the system world, he used the identification ability on Caesar, and thus obtained most of his information, and also learned who beat him like this. Caesar, today's revenge will be avenged tomorrow. Just wait, one day, I will make you pay back bit by bit. Li Yu narrowed his eyes and revealed a cold look. Under his calm face, there was a raging rage, just waiting to be released one day to burn everything. Finally, with the help of Mutuo, Li Yu finally left Myanmar and returned home. However, after he came out of the system world, he saw many fully armed soldiers and some miners, who were using machines to dig continuously under the surveillance of a group of men in black. And their purpose was exactly the same as Li Yu's, that is, for the jade containing energy. This discovery immediately shocked Li Yu. I don't know why the people of the Devil's Heart also need such a large number of energy stones. But no matter how hard Li Yu thought, he couldn't figure out what it was for. But then he found something worth looking forward to. If he could succeed, he could easily get more energy stones. Li Yu found that those people put all the jade they dug out in the ring of a man in black. That's right, it was a space ring, and after observing it for a long time, Li Yu discovered that the capacity of the ring seemed to be unusually large. Li Yu's idea was to quietly monitor them, and when they dug out all the jade, he would directly snatch the space ring from behind. However, whether it would be successful or not still needed to be observed. If those men in black handed over the jade to Caesar every day, then Li Yu would have no way to deal with it. However, to complete this plan, Li Yu still needed the help of Mewtwo. With his current Zuan level strength, he could not fight against all the men in black and those soldiers who were all dressed up. But with the help of Mewtwo, it would be different. With Mewtwo's current sub-god level strength, even if he met Caesar, he would definitely be a crushing existence. This would be safer for Li Yu's actions, otherwise it would not be revenge, but just going to die. Mewtwo, it's up to you now. Although it's a little troublesome, it's easy for you. Just help me, it's okay, right? After telling Mewtwo what he thought, the arrogant Mewtwo refused at first, but finally agreed to Li Yu's request after Li Yu's soft and hard persuasion. HMPH, since you don't trust me, then you should do it yourself. Mewtwo was about to leave. Seeing this, Li Yu quickly grabbed Mewtwo and said, "No, it's not that I don't trust you, I'm just afraid that you'll be bored. Such a small matter doesn't affect me. If I were to say, I would help you get all these energy stones out directly. It's such a simple thing. But you have to wait until they get the energy stones out before letting me grab them." How troublesome. Mewtwo rarely scolded Li Yu non-stop, changing his previous cold and arrogant personality. Well, I just want revenge. That guy beat me up and seriously injured me. If I don't retaliate, wouldn't I be a waste? Thinking of the previous painful experience, Li Yu said angrily, "Haha, with your strength, you are not much different from a waste." Ignoring Li Yu's indignation, Mewtwo attacked directly, not caring about Li Yu's face at all. Speechlessly rolling his eyes at Mewtwo, Li Yu just drew circles in the corner. Silence is considered as tacit consent, right? Speaking of, while Li Yu and Mewtwo were arguing, Caesar, who was in a castle far away in a foreign country, was facing a non-existent black shadow and said respectfully, "Your Majesty, most of Myanmar has been occupied by us. I believe we will soon get a large number of energy stones. Please rest assured, Your Majesty. Hehe. Thank you for your hard work. As long as you work hard for me, I will soon agree to your request. And I can also make you more powerful to retaliate against those who have hurt you." The non-existent figure laughed and immediately made a harsh mechanical sound, giving people a gloomy and terrifying feeling. "Yes, Your Majesty." Hearing the words of the ethereal figure, Caesar's eyes flashed with anger and pain, but then they were filled with a scorching light, and he half knelt on the ground respectfully and said, "Speed up the plan, so that you can achieve your goal faster. Go." After the ethereal figure finished speaking, the figure kept pulling, and then disappeared in an instant. "Lily, I will be able to revive you soon, wait. Then we can live happily together, and those people, I will definitely make them pay the price." New author and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment please. Chapter 78 Bottleneck College Entrance Examination. After Cheo Meng agreed to help him, Li Yu drove his flying skateboard back home. At this time, the sky outside was still grey, and there were still 3 or 4 hours before dawn. Li Yu simply entered the system space and began to practice again. Since the last time he broke through to the Zuan level, his strength has been growing slowly, no matter how he practices, as if he has fallen into a bottleneck. But bottlenecks usually appear when breaking through the realm, so Li Yu was very puzzled about his own changes. He didn't know what was going on. No matter how he practiced, his strength could not grow rapidly. Every time he practiced, the spiritual energy introduced into his body would disappear inexplicably, as if it was swallowed by something. But no matter what difficulties there were, in order to enhance his strength, Li Yu had to overcome them. Without sufficient strength, he could not protect his family, could not explore the truth behind it, and could not find the mysterious old man. Ordinary days always pass easily, and 3 days passed just like that, and finally it was the day when Li Linga was going to take the college entrance examination. The weather was a little cool that day, the scorching sun was covered by dark clouds, and occasionally there was a cool breeze. For the majority of college entrance examination students, this kind of weather is very comfortable for their exams. Linga, don't be nervous, do as much as you can, and believe in yourself. As they were about to enter the examination room, Lee's mother pulled Li Linga and told her many things. Okay, mom. Don't you know your sister's grades? She is usually among the top few. Why are you so nervous here? Seeing her mother's nervous look, Li Yu said helplessly. Lee's mother wanted to refute Li Yu, but Shi Lin Fei came out to smooth things over at this time and said, yes, aunt, you have to believe in Linga. He will definitely not let you down. Okay then. It was still the daughter-in-law's words that worked. Hearing Shi Lin Fei say this, Lee's mother might have gained confidence and didn't say anything more. She just watched Li Linga walk into the examination room with worry and expectation. Mom, it's not a good idea to just wait like this. Let's find a place to rest and wait until her exam is almost over, then we'll come again. Seeing that it was still early, not everyone could just sit here and wait, so Li Yu suggested to his mother. Yes, auntie, this teacher will take several hours. You can't be tired. Shi Lin Fei instantly understood Li Yu's idea and quickly turned on the assist mode and said to Li's mother, well, since Fifi has said so, then I'll listen to you. Li's mother nodded in agreement. Seeing her mother nod, Li Yu happily took her mother and Shi Lin Fei and drove back to the hotel next to the examination room. Because Li Linga's exam would take 2 days, Li Yu had booked a room next to the examination room early. As for Li Yu's father, because the family needed someone, Li's mother directly asked him to stay at home to look after the house. Although Li Yu tried to dissuade him in every way, after all, there was nothing good at home. What was there to see? But Li's mother disagreed and could only let Li's father stay at home alone. The time of waiting is always the most boring. After finally waiting until noon, after picking up Li Linga who had finished the exam, the group returned to the hotel again to eat and rest. Linga, how do you feel? Did the exam go well? Is there anything you don't know? Seeing her daughter finally come back from the exam, Li's mother immediately asked non-stop. Hey. Li Yu and Shi Lin Fei covered their faces and could only sigh. They looked at Li Linga helplessly, and the meaning was self-evident. You solve it yourself. HMPH. Mom, the exam went well, so you don't have to worry. You can just wait for the notification letter from Lanjiang University at home. Li Linga rolled her eyes at her brother and sister-in-law's indifference to her mother, who was like a string of bullets. That's good. That's good. She breathed a sigh of relief. Only after hearing her daughter's confident words did she feel truly relieved. Okay, mom, let's go eat. Then let my sister rest for a while. She still has to take the exam in the afternoon. After saying that, Li Yu pulled them all into the car and drove towards the hotel. The college entrance examination is like crossing a single plank bridge. If you pass it, you will have a brighter future. If you can't pass it, there is a bottomless abyss below. Li Yu had also experienced the college entrance examination before, so he never said anything to his sister. He just waited quietly for the result, and he was also very confident in his sister. The time of the college entrance examination passed quickly. When the last whistle of the exam was blown, it also meant that Li Linga officially graduated and was about to embark on a new journey. University. Linga, what do you want to eat? You will definitely have enough today. Because Li Linga had to take exams in the next 2 days, she kept everything simple to avoid eating problems. Now that the exam was finally over, Li Yu asked this. Well, I want to eat 8 treasure rice, dang po pork, dao cow roast chicken, hula tang. After thinking for a while, Li Linga directly reported a lot of delicacies, which made Li Yu worry about whether she could eat so much. Okay. Seeing her sister looking at her expectantly, how could Li Yu refuse? Although eating so many things at once may be bad for the body, it should be okay once in a while. That's great, mom. You don't know. Last time my classmate showed off to me what she ate every day. It was so hateful. As if she remembered some unpleasant experience, Li Linga said with an indignant look. HMM. Hearing his sister complaining to his mother, Li Yu suddenly realized that he cared so little about his family. Because he had to go to college, he almost spent all the money in the family, so his sister lived a very frugal life and didn't buy many clothes a year. For a girl in her prime, she is at the age of loving beauty, but because of her family's average conditions, she can only look at other people's beautiful clothes with envy and listen to other people's various bragging. Thinking back to buying clothes for her a few days ago, Li Linga said she didn't like it and didn't want it. Now think about it, how could she not like it? She just wanted to save money for Li Yu. Since Li Yu said that he opened a shop and bought a villa in Lanjiang, Li Linga and Li Yu's parents thought that Li Yu should not have much savings. After all, shops and villas are not cheap. So although Li's father and mother wanted to help relatives and friends, they finally gave up this idea for Li Yu's sake, and Li Linga did the same. Holding back the bitterness in his heart, Li Yu remained silent, but secretly decided in his heart that he must let his sister live a princess-like life. On this day, Li Yu and his family wandered around the city, shopping in the commercial street, trying all the delicious food in the food court, and leaving their footprints in all the scenic spots. This is a new book by a new author, and I don't have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 79 finally arrived at Lanjiang. At night, Li Yu originally planned to eat directly in the hotel, but Li's mother disagreed, saying that the hotel's food was expensive and not tasty. It would be better to go home and cook it yourself instead of spending so much money. So Li Yu and his family had to buy a lot of ingredients and then went home, and the whole family mobilized to cook together. However, there was still a lot of fun in cooking together. Each of them made a dish more or less. Li Yu was lazy and didn't do it. He directly took out the specialty of the magical continent meat fruit from the space ring. That's right, it's the kind of meat fruit that grows on the tree. This kind of fruit is very delicious, with both the satisfaction of meat and the natural freshness of vegetables. This dish has also received unanimous praise from the family. On the second day, Li Yu's parents couldn't wait to pack up their things, and the family drove towards Lanjiang. Because they learned that Shilin for his mother also agreed to the two of them being together, Li's father and mother wanted to quickly settle the relationship so that they could hold their grandchildren earlier. As for Li Linga's college entrance examination application, since the results will not be available for at least half a month, there is no need to rush. She can just come back when the time comes. And even if she does not come back, she can directly apply for the application online. As for the crops and houses at home, they were handed over to Li Yu's second uncle's family to take care of. When Li Yu's second uncle heard that Li Yu had opened a shop in Lanjiang City, he asked Li Yu to let his son, Li Yu's cousin Li Kaheo, because Li Kaheo and Li Linga are the same age, both in the third year of high school, and also took the college entrance examination, but his results are, and he doesn't want to continue, so Li Yu's second uncle thought about finding him a job. Now Li Yu has his own shop, so instead of working somewhere else, it is better to work for Li Yu. A family must be more friendly and take care of it than an outsider, and there is no need to worry about being cheated. And Li Yu agreed without any hesitation, because he just happened to need to recruit a few waiters and security guards. Although his parents also went, Li Yu did not ask them to work. That was just an excuse. Moreover, the other party is his relative, his father's brother, and blood is thicker than water. If Li Yu dares to disagree, and his father finds out, he will break his legs. However, because Li Kaheo finally graduated, he wanted to go out and travel around. It's just that, because he was short of money and Li Yu's second uncle's family was not living well, Li Kaheo never asked his parents for money. When Li Yu heard about this from Li Linga, he went directly to Li Kaheo and gave him 10,000 yuan, so that he could have fun and relax during the holiday. At first, Li Kaheo refused to agree because he didn't dare and was embarrassed, but in the end he accepted it after Li Yu's persuasion. Kaheo, I'm your brother, and I will be your boss in the future. So given our relationship, can you not accept this 10,000 yuan? And when you work for me, won't I have to pay you? So this is an advance payment of your salary. Li Yu's words touched Li Kaheo's heart. In fact, he was fooled by Li Yu, and then he accepted it happily. However, 3 days after Li Yu left, Li Kaheo was still too young, and the 10,000 yuan was discovered by his parents. Li Kaheo, who wanted to leave secretly, was educated by Li Yu's second uncle and second aunt for a whole night. But the next day, Li Kaheo still embarked on his first solo journey in his life. However, when he thought of his father's teachings, he was always grateful to Li Yu. Kaheo, your elder brother has become rich now, and he still helps us. You must work hard when you go to work in the future, and don't make things difficult for your elder brother. We are old and have no future, and we can't give you a better future, so you have to rely on yourself. Now is the best opportunity. You must work hard. Brother, your villa here is so beautiful. There is a garden and a swimming pool. Hey, what is this? Where did you get this little white cat? After a 7 or 8 hour drive, Li Yu's family finally arrived at the villa in Lanjiang City. After seeing such a beautiful villa, which is also the villa they will live in the future, Li Ling ran around excitedly. Especially when she saw Xiao Bei, she was instantly conquered by Xiao Bei's cute appearance. Haha, I picked it up. If you like it, I'll give it to you for free. Looking at Xiao Bei, who was ravaged and unhappy, Li Yu replied with a smile. Woo woo woo. You just picked it up. Hateful master, you actually lied to me that there was something delicious. Hearing Li Yu's slander, Xiao Bei glared at him with an unhappy face and whimpered in resistance. However, in Li Ling's eyes, Xiao Bei's expression and actions were as cute as they could be. Let's not talk about Li Yu and his sister playing together. Shi Linfei was much more stable and dignified. She accompanied Li's father and mother to choose a room and clean up the house. Like a daughter-in-law who has already married, she was busy serving her parents-in-law. At this moment, Shi Linfei was very nervous because before Li's father and mother came to Lanjiang City, they had already agreed with Shi Linfei's mother on the time and place to meet. As soon as Li's father and mother arrived, they would immediately discuss the marriage between the two. After packing up, Li's father and mother immediately prepared to go to the appointment, so it would be strange if Shi Linfei was not nervous. However, despite being nervous, Shi Linfei actually had a little expectation in her heart. After all, getting married meant that the two of them were officially together, and she was truly together with Li Yu. Moreover, every girl had a fantasy about weddings, imagining that one day she could walk down the red carpet with her beloved in a sacred church, exchange rings with relatives and friends, and enter the palace of marriage. At 7 o'clock in the evening, it was still that familiar place, heaven on earth. Li Yu's family and Shi Linfei and Shi's wife finally met officially. After some greetings, the two sides began to discuss the marriage of Li Yu and Shi Linfei, which made Li Yu and Shi Linfei embarrassed. After all, discussing the issue of marriage in person was still about getting married and having children, but they had not considered the issue of having children. For a while, they didn't know how to answer. Fortunately, Li's father and mother still remembered Li Yu's instructions and finally set the wedding date on the national day next year. Because Li Yu had discussed it with his parents before coming, Li Yu was relieved after hearing the final wedding date. Shi Linfei was silent and fidgeting with shyness on the side, but after seeing Li Yu beside her, she felt an inexplicable sense of peace in her heart. The two smiled at each other, and everything was said without words. This is a new book by a new author, and the author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 80 Engagement Revenge. After the matter was agreed, they had dinner together. The chefs in Shai and Shangrenjian were not only good at Sichuan cuisine, but also from all over China, and their cooking skills were superb. It was definitely a feast for gluttons. Although the price was very high, money was no longer a problem for Li Yu. What he wanted now was to enjoy and let his parents enjoy the best life. After the dinner, Li Yu's parents wanted to have a candlelight chat with his master's wife. Fortunately, Li Yu, Shi Linfei and Li Ling persuaded them, otherwise they would not know when they would talk. Li Yu first sent Shi Linfei and her mother home, and then took the family back to the villa. After returning home, it was already late at night, and the empty villa was silent, but today, it finally felt lively. Brother, mom and dad, I'm so tired, I'll go back to sleep first, good night. Li Ling, who was exhausted, yawned several times in a row, said goodbye to Li Yu and the others, and went back to her room to sleep. Then you should go to bed early, Mom and Dad. Tomorrow I will take you around the city, which can be regarded as a tour. Before going to bed, Li Yu said to his parents, well, Oklahoma, I will listen to you. Knowing the child's intention, Li's father and mother did not refuse, and directly agreed to his decision. No words all night. As a typical representative of the Jiangnan water town, Langjiang City is famous for its beautiful scenery and small bridges and flowing water. There has always been a saying among the people that there is heaven above and Susao and Hangsao below. Every year during the holidays, countless tourists will flock here one after another. Even if there is no place to stay because of the crowds, every scenic spot will still be occupied by tourists. And Li Yu and his family just happened to encounter the peak season of tourism, because now is the beginning of the holiday. Li Yu's family spent a whole morning in the crowded scenic spots. In the end, Li's father and mother firmly rejected Li Yu's idea of continuing. They really couldn't stand it. This is really too tiring. It's even more terrifying than planting and harvesting crops. There was no other way. Li Yu had to send his parents home, and then he and his sister took Shilin Fei to continue to squeeze in the crowds at various scenic spots. Happy days are always short, and time finally came to the time when the college entrance examination scores were released. On this day, Li Yu's family sat on the sofa, constantly refreshing the computer with expectation, and the scores finally began to be announced in the expectation of countless families. Name: Li Ling, Chinese. 108 Mathematics. 121 English. 132 Liberal Arts. 254 total score. 615 Yeah. Look, how is it? I said I must have done well in the exam. You still don't believe it, The moment she saw the score, Li Ling was also a little excited and a little unbelievable because she usually only had a score of more than 550, but now she has performed exceptionally and did so well in the exam. Yes, yes, yes. My sister is the best. Tell me, whatever you want today, I will satisfy you. Looking at her sister with satisfaction, Li Yu was also happy that she could get such a good score, so he waved his hand directly and said very generously. Although Li's father and mother didn't say anything, their eyes were full of relief, pride, and tears flashed. After the results came out, it was time to fill in the application form, but because Li Ling had already had a goal, she directly filled in the Blue River University online. And within 3 days, after filling in the application, Blue River University sent the admission information, wanting Li Ling to register as soon as possible. As for why they knew Li Ling's application information, it is unknown. The family affairs were finally all over, and Li Yu finally had the time to leave again. And his clone also studied books related to running a store in the past few days. It is also worth mentioning that Shilin Fei also asked Wu Enai to help her refine a clone, and with the help of Cheo Meng, she also successfully condensed the Soul Man and the clone fusion. When the two clones met, Li Yu and Shilin Fei gave them a death order, that is, not to do anything out of line. As for why, it was because neither of them could accept that another self and others were affectionate, even if they were themselves in a certain sense. But before leaving, Li Yu still had to do one last thing, which was to snatch the energy stone. After so many days of surveillance, good news came from Mutuo, that is, the men in black had finally dug up all the jade mines and were preparing to transport the jade back to the secret base immediately. So Li Yu did not dare to hesitate and hurriedly followed Mutuo to Myanmar. At this time, the men in black were protecting the leading man in black. Under Li Yu's identification, he got the information of this person. The leading man in black turned out to be none other than Caesar. It's just that, when he was in the mine last time, he was wearing a black cloak, and this time he was wearing a hooded windbreaker. This is difficult. I can't beat him with my strength. Caesar's strength is that of an emperor-level strongman, and Li Yu is just a scumbag of the Zuan level. It is impossible to snatch the space ring from him, just like snatching food from a tiger's mouth. Hey. Helplessly, Li Yu had to look at Mutuo, with an expression of expectation on his face. Li Yu also understood that, if you want Mutuo to help you, you have to be shameless. If you are embarrassed to ask him, then Mutuo will not take the initiative to help you. Humph. With an expressionless cold snort, Mewtwo teleported directly in front of Caesar and appeared in front of all the men in black without any scruples. Who is it? The sudden mysterious man shocked Caesar because Mewtwo was wearing a cloak. This person appeared at an unknown time without anyone noticing. If he attacked him by surprise, the result would be, "Who are you?" Caesar condensed a terrifying force in his hand, ready to attack at any time. Although he asked, he immediately understood the cause and effect after seeing Liu. Without any answer, Mewtwo waved his hand, and the space ring that was originally worn on Caesar disappeared directly out of thin air and reappeared in Mewtwo's hand. His eyes froze, and Caesar wanted to take action, but thinking of the other party's mysterious method, he forcibly retracted the surging energy. Caesar, right? I don't know why you would turn to foreigners, but since we have made enemies, I will return the favor one day. Liu and Mewtwo disappeared as he wiped Caesar's neck. Without saying a word, Caesar was furious. He thought that, if his mission could not be completed, she would not be able to be resurrected, and he would not be able to gain more powerful strength, so how could he take revenge? This is a new book by a new author, and the author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 81 Summary of the Protagonist Spirit, Irregular Updates. Attributes, Fire, Hidden Attribute, Dragon, Not Activated. Qualifications, Epic Level, Normal, Level 15, 99%. Abilities, Innate Skill, Dragon Dance, the rest are not activated. Learning Skills, Alloy Claws, Howling Sparks, Dragon's Fury. The second, Cassie Name, Cassie Attributes, Psychic Qualifications, Diamond Level, Iron Level 15, 35% Abilities, Innate Skill, Wonderful Space, the rest are not activated. Learning Skills, Instant Movement, Telekinesis, Illusion Attack. The third, Scyther Name, Scyther Attributes, Insect plus Flying Qualifications, Diamond Level, Iron Level, Level 16, 45%. Abilities, Innate Skill, Insect Song, the rest are not activated. Learning Skills, Lightning Flash, Chase, and Charge Blade Attack. Attributes, Bug plus Flying Qualifications, Gold Level, Iron Rank, Level 16, 52%. Ability, Innate Skill, Super Absorption, the rest are not activated. Learning Skills, Telekinesis Poison Powder, Paralysis Powder, Sleep Powder, Insect Chirp. The fifth, Magikarp Name, Magikarp Attributes, Water, Hidden Attribute, Flying, Qualifications, Diamond Level, Iron Rank 16, 54% Ability, Innate Skill, Frozen Wind, the rest are not activated. Learning Skills, Water Splash, Leap and Rush. The sixth, Water Otter Name, Water Otter Attributes, Water, Hidden Attribute, Dragon. Qualifications, Legendary Level, Iron Rank 15, 55% Ability, Innate Skill, Water Swim, the rest are not activated. Learning Skills, Impact, Gas Gathering Water Gun, Dragon Scale Blade. The seventh, Iron Dumbbell Name, Iron Dumbbell Attributes, Steel Qualifications, Level, Ordinary Level 1 Ability, Innate Skill, Metal Absorption, others not yet activated. Learning Skill, Impact. The eighth, Zyrocean Name, Zyrocean Bloodline, Cerberus Three-Headed Dog Attributes, Darkness, Lightning, Fire Qualifications, Mythical Level, Silver Level 36, 0%, Ability, Control of Darkness, Comprehend the Origin of Darkness and Control Death, 10%, Control of Demon Thunder, Comprehend the Origin of Thunder, and Control Thunder Punishment, 5%, Hell Dark Flame, Comprehend the Origin of Dark Flame, and Control the Flame of Hell, 10%, Self-Created Skills, Hell turns into Hell Flame Demon Hell Thunder Flame. The ninth, Xiaobai Name, Xiaobai Bloodline, Thunder Gang White Tiger Attributes, Gold Thunder Qualifications, Mythical Level, Black Iron Level 10, 10% Ability, Control of Thunder Punishment, Comprehend the Origin of Thunder, and Control the Power of Thunder Punishment, 1%, Control of Gangjin, Comprehend the Origin of Gangjin, and Control the Power of Killing, 1%. Self-created skills. White Tiger transformation, Golden Thunder Spear, Thunder Shadow Flash. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Vision Elfeg. Hey, Mutwo, what's wrong with me? Why can't I increase my strength, no matter how I practice? Thinking of his inability to do anything, and having to ask Mutwo for help, Liu felt as if he was dying. But when he thought of his stagnant practice, Liu was helpless. Well, although I have never heard of your practice method, practice is a process of energy assimilation, and there are only two reasons why you can't assimilate energy. One is that you can't absorb energy, and the other is that you can't assimilate energy. There is no doubt that you can absorb energy, but assimilating energy, I found that the energy you absorbed seemed to be intercepted by something, so your strength stagnated. But with my current strength, I can't see what kind of existence it is, so I have no choice but to see if you can explore the secrets in your body. It was the first time that Mutwo said so many words, and it seemed that he was a little uncomfortable. After he finished speaking, he disappeared and returned to the system world. Thank you, Mutwo. Liu was also a little surprised about Mutwo. He didn't expect him to say so many words at once. But thinking of Mutwo's words, Liu had a headache. Even with such a powerful strength as Cheomeng, he couldn't solve the problem of cultivation. So what could he do? Hey, let's take it one step at a time. I hope he can break through himself. Oh, no, maybe Zanenai knows the reason. After all, he is an existence in the ancient times, and the master is also a strong man beyond the god level. Thinking of Zanenai, Liu's heart surged with a trace of expectation. Maybe. Well, the master's current situation is indeed due to some reason, which causes the spiritual energy absorbed into the body to be unable to be converted into its own power. However, this mysterious existence seems to have a powerful power, which I can't see through at all, so the master can only pray for good luck. Unfortunately, after asking Zanenai, Liu only got such an answer. Even the knowledgeable Zanenai had no way. Liu could only sigh and remain silent. And just when Liu was dejected, as if sensing his loneliness, the colorful bead hidden somewhere in Liu's spiritual sea suddenly appeared in the system world. With a humming sound, the colorful beads shone with 1,000-foot high light, and a stream of mysterious and huge energy continued to flow out of it, and then was swallowed up. Under the mysterious beads, the elf egg given to him by the mysterious old man was spinning, absorbing the energy emitted from the colorful beads. As the energy continued to be absorbed, countless mysterious inscriptions suddenly emerged on the pure white eggshell of the elf egg. It was a font that no one had ever seen before, as if it was formed naturally, giving people a sense of natural mystery. As the mysterious inscription loomed, a small human figure suddenly appeared on the eggshell, but then disappeared again, as if it had never appeared. However, Liu did not notice anything in the system world, and even Mutwo did not notice anything, or they simply could not find it. Dividing line. Yes, this wave is not a loss. It is worthy of being the devil's heart. So many jade mines were dug out in a few days. If it were me, I don't know how long it would take. The moment he opened Caesar's space ring, Liu was stunned. There were a lot of energy stones placed in the boundless space, which was simply incomparable to what he had mined in the past few days. With a total of 60 million energy stones, Liu could be said to have become rich overnight. Now Liu could not only hatch the elf egg, but also had a lot of surplus. Thinking of this, Liu could not wait to come to the system world. At this time, the elf egg was alone, placed in the palace built by Liu. After confirming the hatching, Liu saw the elf egg suddenly fly out of the palace, straight into the sky, and then directly broke through the barrier outside the system world, and disappeared. Are you fucking cheating? The sudden change shocked Liu. He never thought that the elf egg would actually escape, and because of his momentary shock, he forgot to stop it. System, come out, what the hell is going on? Aren't you cheating me? Liu, who looked unhappy, yelled at the system, regardless of whether the system would respond to him. Ding, the position has changed. Please wait a moment. The system is under maintenance. Hearing the mechanical voice of the system, Liu felt at ease. Since the system can solve it, the result is not too bad. While Liu was silently waiting for the system to respond, the elf egg that broke through the world barrier was in the void space. The turbulence of time and space in this void space was surging, and endless violent energy was rushing. Once any object comes to this place, it will be annihilated in an instant, and not even a trace of residue can be found. But this elf egg is unscathed, quietly staying in the storm, as if everything outside has nothing to do with it. It just quietly keeps spinning there. Suddenly, a colorful bead suddenly appeared, and then instantly poured into the elf egg. Then the surrounding space-time storm seemed to be stimulated by something, and became more violent and turbulent, rushing towards the elf egg continuously. But every time those majestic space-time storms came around the elf egg, they seemed to encounter a black hole, and were swallowed up and disappeared directly. As time passed, those space-time storms that could destroy the world and annihilate the planet were completely swallowed up, forming a large vacuum area around the elf egg. The elf egg seemed to be unsatisfied, and instantly swept towards more space-time storms in the distance. At this moment, a space-time crack suddenly appeared, and then countless star beasts poured out from it, just like sharks smelling blood, and pounced directly on the elf egg. Yeah. A childish voice suddenly appeared in the elf egg, and the voice was full of excitement. Then 3 mysterious stone tablets flew out of the elf egg, and then the mysterious stone tablets radiated endless energy, constantly rotating to form a vortex. All the space beasts that approached the elf egg were crushed by the energy vortex, and then swallowed by the elf egg. However, this situation did not make the space beasts retreat, but instead rushed towards the elf egg one after another. Yeah. As if angered by these hateful insects, an angry voice came out of the elf egg. The mysterious stone tablets also surged with blue, purple, and red energy, instantly stirring up the space-time storm within a few miles around, forming an even bigger storm, and the elf egg was at the center of the storm. Roar. Those space beasts that continued to emerge from the space-time cracks were swallowed by the storm in an instant, and even the space-time cracks were crushed. Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please review, please do anything. Chapter 83 Heading to the Zuan clan. The energy disappeared, and the elf egg made a tired sound, and even the light on the mysterious stone slab dimmed. At this moment, a space beast that was as big as an aircraft carrier suddenly appeared next to the elf egg, and swallowed the elf egg in one gulp. This beast looked like the legendary beast in Chinese legend, Kun, but its appearance was a little different. However, judging from its ability to block the space, as soon as it appeared, it was definitely a divine beast level existence, or even better. But, feeling the crisis, the elf egg wanted to escape, but because the space beast blocked the surrounding space, it was impossible to teleport in a short period of time, so the elf egg was directly swallowed by it. Roar. As if it had achieved its goal, the space beast roared excitedly. But before he could be happy for long, the sudden change made him extremely frightened. I saw the huge body of the space beast constantly twisting, just like kneading plasticine, and its twisted appearance could not see its original shape at all. Roar. The continuous angry roars seemed to have no effect. His body was actually shrinking in the process of continuous twisting, and in the blink of an eye it shrunk to a size of several thousand meters. Roar. With a desperate roar, a trace of anger, resentment, and unwillingness flashed in the eyes of the star beast, and then the momentum on his body suddenly surged, and then after reaching a peak, it disappeared in an instant. Boom boom boom. The sudden explosion sounded in the void space, but this void space seemed to have no effect, and remained extremely calm. But then, the space of tens of millions of meters in radius was directly shattered, countless space-time cracks, and the surging space-time storm suddenly violently destroyed everything around. From the space-time cracks, you can vaguely see the situation on the other side. The planet was instantly annihilated, and the creatures on the planet returned to the embrace of the universe before they had time to react. In the endless violent and chaotic space-time storm, a childish voice with a hint of childishness once again echoed in this void space, but the voice was weak. Yeah. The elf egg made an urgent sound again, and then a colorful bead emerged from it. However, the mysterious bead that was originally shining with colorful light was now extremely dim, just like an ordinary stone. Yeah. The elf egg circled around the colorful bead, and then both disappeared at the same time, leaving only the space-time cracks that gradually collapsed around them. Ding, the elf egg is hatching. It will take 3 days. Please wait patiently. Just when Liu was bored to death, the system's voice finally came again, but although it was also good news, it still took 3 days for the elf egg to hatch. Hey, what's going on? The system doesn't say. But since there is such a big commotion, the elf that hatched must be no simple one. So although Liu still felt a little regretful that he couldn't see the elf in the elf egg earlier, 3 days was not a long time, and he didn't have to worry too much. Just when Liu was having dinner with his family and preparing to leave the earth for the magical continent, an unexpected person actually found him. Liu, I came here this time on the orders of the family to invite you to the Zuan clan as a guest. I wonder what you think? Of course, it doesn't matter if you don't go. We are just inviting you. You have the right to refuse. Zuan Wuang rarely said to Liu with a serious face. That's right, just when Liu was about to go to the magical continent, Zuan Wuang, one of the 4 major family children who had ventured into the secret realm with him, found Liu and invited him to the family as a guest. Well, okay, it just so happens that I also have something to ask you, and I also want to do business with you. After thinking about it, Liu finally agreed to Zuan Wuang's request. Originally, he wanted to refuse at first, but thinking of the group of people in the demon heart, especially Caesar, Liu wanted to know more about them. After all, knowing yourself and the enemy can win every battle. And more importantly, Liu suddenly found that he had actually been trapped in a strange circle of thought. So why do you have to go mining yourself? It's laborious and thankless. There are obviously better resources, but you don't know how to use them. Just like collecting energy stones, instead of Liu doing it himself, it's better to use the countless martial arts and secrets of Zananai to exchange spiritual stones with the 4 major families. This is easy and simple, and it doesn't waste his time. After thinking this through, Liu immediately agreed to Zuan Wuang's invitation, and even kept it a secret, which made Zuan Wuang scratch his head, but Liu just kept silent. After telling his parents that he was going to visit a friend's house, Liu took Shilinfei and drove to the secret realm of the Zuan clan under the leadership of Zuan Wuang. Most of the top forces on the earth now have their family bases, or even more than one. The secret realm that Liu is about to go to is the secret realm that the Zuan clan has made public. As for whether the Zuan clan has other secret realms, it is unknown. After hearing that Liu was going to visit the Zuan clan, Shilinfei, who had never met other bloodline inheritors, took the initiative to ask to go with him. Liu naturally agreed. Anyway, there was nothing shameful, so what was the matter? It was just right for Shilinfei to get in touch with the world of cultivators in advance. Since Shilinfei has joined this circle, it is only a matter of time before she understands it. After seeing Shilinfei, Zuan Wuang was a little surprised, but in the end he just looked at Liu meaningfully and didn't say anything. But this look in Shilinfei's eyes was thoughtful. It was said that they were going to the secret realm, but in fact Liu and his team didn't even leave Lanjiang City. They just came to the underground base of the Zuan clan in Lanjiang and directly used the teleportation array to go to the Zuan clan secret realm. After all, the location of the secret realm is a family secret. Even if they want to make friends with Liu, they will not tell him this secret. Even among the 4 major families, there are secrets that they don't know about each other. Once the location of the secret realm is known by hostile forces, it will be a fatal crisis for every family. Therefore, no matter what happens, they will not easily expose their true colors. A dazzling white light flashed by, and then Liu and others disappeared. When they reappeared, they were already in a beautiful, unknown town. Yes, this place is like an ancient town, with red bricks and green tiles, and pavilions standing in rows. The whole place looks like an ancient town. This is a new book by a new author. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment please. Chapter 84, Zuan Wu Hegemony Technique. Li Yu, this is the Wuling Secret Realm, one of our Zuan clan secret realms. We are currently in the inner city of Wuling City. Wuling City is divided into the outer city and the inner city. Only the direct descendants of the family can live in the inner city, and in the center of the city, only the family's top leaders can live here. This Wuling secret realm belongs to the residents of the Great Elder, and the one who is guarding and receiving you this time is the Great Elder, who is also my great-grandfather. Leading Li Yu and Shilin Fei, Zuan Wuang kept explaining the basic situation of the Wuling secret realm and the Zuan clan figures who met this time. Well, after responding, Li Yu did not respond, but continued to listen to Zuan Wuang's introduction, and then kept scanning and observing the surrounding situation. Even in the secret realm, the Zuan clan is still heavily guarded. In addition to the guards patrolling constantly, there are also powerful mechanical puppets hidden in the dark, and even an inexplicable breath fluctuation that appears and disappears. It is obvious that there is a strong man hidden in the dark, ready to solve various emergencies at any time. It's just that ordinary people can't find these at all. If Li Yu didn't have the system, with his current strength and eyesight, he wouldn't be able to see anything at all. Along the way, everyone who saw Zuan Wuang would greet him respectfully. Obviously, Zuan Wuang is still very popular here. We are here, Li Yu. Just now, the great-grandfather informed me that they are waiting for us in the Zuanwu temple. After walking for most of the day, Li Yu and his friends finally arrived at the square for martial arts performances. At this time, a large group of young children, led by a muscular man, were practicing a magnificent boxing method. In the center of the square, there is a huge sculpture of the Zuanwu beast. From a distance, an inexplicable majestic aura came from it, giving people a sense of fear that they dare not look directly at it. As the bloodline inheritors of the Zuanwu beast, the Zuan clan believes in Zuanwu. This can be seen from the fact that the people of the Zuan clan use Zuan as their surname and worship the Zuanwu beast. Let's go. Without wasting any more time, Li Yu and his companions walked straight towards the thousands of steps at the back of the square. The steps were carved with various Zuanwu statues and the development history of the Zuan clan from ancient times to the present. After walking step by step for more than 10 minutes, Li Yu and his companions finally arrived at the Zuanwu Hall. At this time, there were already people waiting outside the Zuanwu Hall. When they saw Li Yu and his companions coming, they hurriedly walked up and bowed slightly respectfully. Amber, I have said it many times, it is the modern age now, and you still call me young master. Zuan Wuang seemed to be very familiar with the visitor. He said to the visitor with some complaints and some respect, etiquette cannot be abolished. Young master, you should go in quickly. The great elder and his companions have been waiting for a long time. Amber did not say much, but just changed the subject. Hey, okay. Li Yu, let's go. Zuan Wuang sighed helplessly, said to Li Yu, and walked straight into the Zuanwu Hall. This guy, it was you who invited me, right? He's so arrogant. Li Yu slandered the great elder Zuan Wuang mentioned in his heart, but he followed him into the Zuanwu Hall step by step. Although Shilin Fei was also very curious about everything around her, she didn't show any expression, but just quietly held Li Yu's arm. Welcome Li Yu to my Zuan clan. I'm Zuan Moyan, the great elder of the Zuan clan. I have heard of you a long time ago. As soon as he walked to the door of the hall, a white-haired old man came out and looked at Li Yu with a smile on his face. Behind him were 3 old men of the same age. Judging from their aura and the temperament in their gestures, they must have been in high positions for a long time. The 3 people behind the great elder smiled at Li Yu, but behind their smiles there was a hint of contempt. I didn't expect the great elder to come here in person. As a junior, I'm really ashamed. It seemed that Li Yu also felt the macro expressions of the 3 people. Although he felt a little unhappy, he still needed the necessary social etiquette. Don't mind, my friend. Come on, let's go in and talk. The great elder said as he led Li Yu to the hall, and everyone sat down. The great elder sat at the head. The 3 old men sat on the right side of the great elder, and Li Yu, Shilin Fei, and Zuan Wuang sat on the left side of the great elder. After a round of greetings, Li Yu took the initiative to put forward his purpose. After all, it was not a problem to argue with these old and sophisticated guys for 3 days and 3 nights. Instead of doing this, it would be better for Li Yu to directly state his problem. Great Elder, I came here for two purposes. One is to know the specific information of the Dark Alliance, especially the power of the Demon Heart. The second is to do a business with the Zuan clan. Of course, if the other three families can also come together, it would be even better. Although it was a bit sudden to say this. After all, you just want to get information from others, wasting a lot of resources and manpower. How can it be so good? What's more, you are just a low-level cultivator of the Zuan level. Even if you have a powerful master, you can't be so arrogant to say that you want to do business with the four major families that have been passed down for thousands of years. Well, I don't know why you need the information of the Dark Alliance, and what exactly does this business refer to? Although the Great Elder also felt that Li Yu was too arrogant. After all, he was the apprentice of a super strong man, and necessary courtesy was still needed. Humph. But the three old men snorted coldly, with disdain on their faces, without any concealment at all. Haha. Li Yu just sneered, without any displeasure, and then continued to explain. Well, it's okay. There was a conflict with the Dark Alliance a few days ago, so. As for the transaction. Haha, I wonder if the Elder knows the Zuan Wu Xianju technique? Li Yu kept it a secret, and asked the Elder. The Zuan Wu Beiju? This? Li Yu, I wonder if this technique was passed down from the He people. There were some guesses in his heart, but the Elder was not sure. After all, the name was related to the Zuan clan, which did not mean that the technique was equally useful. The secret of Zuan Wu hegemony was passed down by Yan Tong, a venerable Zuan clan in ancient times. At first, Yan Tong was just an ordinary cultivator who accidentally entered a secret realm and accidentally saw a battle between the mythical beast Zuan Wu and another mythical beast in the secret realm. Because he watched the battle scene of the mythical beast Zuan Wu and also received the inheritance of the immortals, his strength increased greatly, and he comprehended the Zuan Wu artistic conception. After countless battles, he finally created a super skill. Li Yu explained to everyone, based on the previous introduction of Zan and I. Newcomer and new book, the author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please ask for anything. Chapter 85 The Secret of the Zuan Clan. HMPH, you said it so nicely, saying you know, if it's the Silver Spear Waxhead. And what good things can someone like you come up with? Before the Elder said anything, one of the three old men with a sinister look in his eyes said to Li Yu with disdain. Zuan Ming, don't involve outsiders in your own affairs. Li Yu is my guest, not your servant. The Elder scolded the man, and then smiled apologetically at Li Yu, but his eyes were very angry. It's okay. From their words, Li Yu also roughly understood something. It must be another drama of family struggle for power and profit. He has no interest in these. Anyway, it has nothing to do with him. In that case, let me be frank. This technique is learned from the battle scene of Zuan Wu, so it mainly includes martial arts and body training. The technique is divided into 3 levels. When you practice to the first level, you will be as strong as a copper wall and iron wall, invulnerable to swords and spears, and your body defense is comparable to that of a strong earth level person. When you practice to the second level, your body will be like a black tortoise, and a black tortoise phantom will appear behind you. Not only will your defense increase again, comparable to that of a strong heaven level person, but you will also be blessed by the power of the mythical beast Zuan Wu with every move. When you practice to the third level, your body will be transformed into the true body of Zuan Wu, and your body will be extremely strong. Not only will your defense be as strong as that of a strong immortal level person, you can cross the void in a short time. You will also have a natural divine power, Zuan clan transformation. At the end of his speech, Li Yu looked at the elders and the others with a smile, wanting to see their reactions. Seeing that they wanted to ask but hesitated, Li Yu wanted to laugh, but he finally held back. And this technique has another biggest feature, that is, if it is practiced by the inheritor of the Zuan Wu bloodline, the higher the blood concentration, the higher the degree of fit with the technique, and the faster the practice will be. It can be said that this technique is designed for the inheritor of the Zuan Wu bloodline. After a pause, Li Yu continued to speak slowly. Li Yu, is the technique you are talking about true? Can you show it to me? Looking at Li Yu incoherently, the elder's face was hot, but still a little unbelievable. Boy, if you hand over the technique to us, you will definitely get some benefits. If you dare to deceive us, he. But before Li Yu could answer, the sinister old man Zuanming immediately jumped out again, threatening Li Yu to show his presence. Li Yu was also drunk. He didn't know what was wrong with this guy. He would jump out to mock and threaten Li Yu every time. Is his IQ not online today? Zuanming, shut up. Don't play those little tricks in front of me. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Staring at Zuanming with cold eyes, the elder said in a grim tone. Humph. Feeling the deep murderous aura in the air, Zuanming was sure that the other party would not dare to do anything to him. After all, he was still the fourth elder of the Zuan clan. But he was still a little afraid in his heart. It was obvious that the elder had a deep prestige in their hearts. Li Yu, I don't know what you want. In order to hand over the skills to us? The elder smiled apologetically at Li Yu and then asked his purpose. Well, what I want is spirit stones or other items containing energy. Finally getting to the point, Li Yu didn't want to hesitate, so he said directly. Spirit stones. Well, yes. We in the Zuan clan still have a lot of spirit stones, but I don't know the specific number you want. Hearing that Li Yu's request was spirit stones, the elder breathed a sigh of relief and asked anxiously. 50 million top grade spirit stones, or other items with the same energy. After thinking for a while, Li Yu made his offer. Because according to the energy contained in the top grade spirit stones he had, one top grade spirit stone could be exchanged for 125 points. So if the transaction was successful, 50 million top grade spirit stones could bring Li Yu at least 50 million points, which could be said to be more exaggerated than robbery. 50 million. Are you robbing? Do you know what top grade spirit stones mean? You actually opened your mouth so high. Directly 50 million. As soon as Li Yu finished speaking, Zuanming immediately shouted and mocked Li Yu. However, this time the elder did not reprimand him at all, but instead looked a little ugly. Obviously, Li Yu's offer was a bit high. Li Yu, although my Zuan clan has a lot of spiritual stones, apart from the usual consumption, plus the spiritual stones used by the whole clan for cultivation, there are not many spiritual stones that can be stored every year. Moreover, the earth is now short of spiritual energy. Basically, all spiritual energy is mined from the secret realm, or obtained from the caves of the predecessors. So these 50 million pieces of top grade spiritual stones. The elder's words were sincere and heartfelt, and Li Yu felt embarrassed. But on second thought, although this is reasonable, he didn't believe that a family that has been passed down for thousands of years couldn't even take out 50 million pieces of top grade spiritual stones. You know, just last time in Master Zuan Yang's secret realm, Li Yu got nearly a million pieces of top grade spiritual stones, and the Zuan clan has accumulated a lot of spiritual stones for thousands of years, not to mention a lot. Li Yu's request is definitely not excessive. Great Elder, you can't take out 50 million pieces of top grade spiritual stones? If so, there's nothing to say. After thinking this through, Li Yu didn't have a good face and asked directly coldly. Hey, Li Yu, you don't know, it's not that we can't take it out, but because. As he spoke, the elder seemed to have something to hide, hesitating to speak, looking very entangled. Hey, never mind, I'll tell you. Actually, since a month ago, the secret realm, where our Zuan clan specializes in mining spirit stones, for some reason, the concentration of spiritual energy has slowly become thinner. And the spirit stones in the spirit stone mine, the energy in them has also begun to gradually disappear. At first we thought it was because the secret realm was about to collapse, but in the end we found that almost all the secret realms of the 4 major families were like this. So the spirit stones that were originally in surplus have suddenly become strategic resources. They cannot be easily outflowed in large quantities, otherwise it is very likely that there will be no spirit stones available. The elder sighed repeatedly and finally slowly told the current situation of the Zuan clan. So that's it. Li Yu nodded, thinking in his heart. No wonder people felt as uncomfortable as constipation when they heard his words. It turned out that such a big thing had happened. Now Li Yu's request is like cutting flesh from them. newcomers and new books. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please review, please do anything. Chapter 86 deal done. How about this? Liu, our Zuan clan will provide you with 30 million top grade spirit stones, and you can also choose 5 items at random from our Zuan clan's treasure pavilion. The elder saw Liu's thoughtful look, fearing that Liu would refuse the deal, and hurriedly made a suggestion. As for whether he was worried that Liu was deceiving them, the elder was not worried at all. As one of the 4 major families, no one dared to play tricks on them. Those who dared to challenge the 4 major families have long been reduced to scum. In fact, Liu has a super strong master, and they have no fear, because they are confident that the strength of the 4 major families will never lose to anyone. Well, okay. After thinking about it, Liu finally agreed directly. After all, public law is like cabbage. He can have as much as he wants, but these spirit stones are not something he can get just because he wants them. Really, that's great. Thank you so much, Liu. I thank you for your gift on behalf of the Zuan clan. Unexpectedly, Liu actually agreed, and the elder thanked Liu very happily. However, when Zuan Ming saw that the two sides had reached a deal, a trace of gloom and murderous intent flashed in his eyes for some reason. Grand Elder, you are too polite. Since the business has been negotiated, I will not say much. This is the first half of the practice. You can take a look first. After I get the spirit stone, I will give you the second half. I hope the Grand Elder does not mind. Liu took out the information crystal that Zion and I had already recorded from the space ring and smiled faintly at the Grand Elder. Well, it's okay. This is the best. He took the information crystal with trembling hands, and with a scan of his mental power, he saw the information of the practice. At the first glance, he felt the extraordinariness of this practice, and there was a faint sense of boiling in the depths of his blood. It's actually true, and it's even more compatible than I imagined. It's a technique that was created for my Zuan clan. It's even better than the true martial art that my Zuan clan has inherited. With so many thoughts in his mind, the Great Elder was shocked and stood there in shock, causing the others to be puzzled. Only Liu sat calmly in his seat, and Shilin Fei remained silent throughout the whole process. Liu, on behalf of the Zuan clan, I thank you. Let's go to the treasure pavilion now. As for the spirit stones, I'll ask them to prepare them, and you can get them when you come out of the treasure pavilion. After finally calming down, the Great Elder walked to Liu's side and pulled him to the treasure pavilion. Speechless, Liu had to follow the Great Elder and walked out quickly, and the others followed closely behind them. The Zuan clan's treasure pavilion is a delicate pagoda with more than 10 floors. There are no guards outside the tower, but no one dares to underestimate the safety here. Walking into the first floor of the treasure pavilion, I saw an old man lying on a recliner beside him with his eyes closed, motionless like a dead person. Without saying a word, the elder bowed respectfully to the old man, and then took Liu to the second floor. As for the others, they could only wait on the first floor. Liu, we also have a lot of energy containing items that you want, but because we don't know what they are, we can only put them here. Of course, you can also choose items from other floors. When they came to the 5th floor, the elder pointed to the various strange items randomly placed on the surrounding shelves, and explained to Liu. Well, thank you, Elder. After thanking him, Liu began to search carefully here. Because he had the ability to identify, Liu thought that he might be able to find something good. However, after searching for a long time, although Liu also found some good things, it was not worth wasting this opportunity. For example, the magic crystal contains a lot of magic energy, which can be absorbed by spirits such as ghosts and spirits to enhance their strength. There is also something called the source spirit wood, which also contains a lot of wood spirit energy, but it cannot be absorbed and can only be used to cultivate spirit plants. These things may be very useful, but I don't know when I can use them. It's a pity to throw them away, and they are tasteless. And it's not worth wasting. 5 places were exchanged for 20 million top grade spirit stones. Item, Spirit Gem Introduction, a mysterious gem from the depths of the universe, which contains a huge amount of spiritual power, but is bound in the gem by unknown energy. This looks good. Seeing the information about the spirit gem, Li Yu became interested, and according to the introduction, the energy contained in this spirit gem is comparable to that of an emperor level strongman. Let's take this as the first item. Well, I have to hurry up. Anyway, there is no hope of getting anything good, and even if there is, it's basically useless to me. After that, Li Yu randomly selected a few more items, 2 of which were stones containing a lot of energy. Although they only added up to a few million points of energy, Li Yu didn't dislike them. The last 2 items were 2 ores, one of which was deep sea marrow silver, which was a palm-sized ore formed by continuous compression under terrifying water pressure. One is star steel rock, a meteorite from the starry sky. After choosing, Li Yu followed the elder back to the first floor. At this time, they were sitting there bored, and there was another middle-aged man with a stern face, standing quietly on the side. Seeing the elder and Li Yu coming down, the cold-faced middle-aged man walked up quickly and respectfully handed a space ring to the elder. "Well, you go back first." The elder nodded, and said after his mental power swept over the space ring. "Yes." The cold-faced middle-aged man bowed again and left directly. "Li Yu, take a look. Are 30 million spirit stones enough?" The elder said impatiently, after handing the space ring to Li Yu. He really couldn't wait to get the second half of the practice. "Well, that's right. Here you go. This is the second half of the practice." Li Yu knew the number of spirit stones just by asking the system. Then he took out another information crystal and handed it to the elder. Trembling as he took the information crystal, tears flashed in the eyes of the great elder. He was obviously so excited that he could hardly suppress his emotions. Perhaps this kind of behavior is incomprehensible to others, but you can hardly imagine the status of the mythical beast Xuanwu in the hearts of the Xuan clan. It is their belief and the source of their strength. Anything related to Xuanwu is the goal they pursue fanatically. After the transaction was completed, the 2 parties returned to the Xuanwu hall to greet each other again. At noon, when it was time to eat, the patriarch of the Xuan clan, who was also Xuan Wuying's father, actually came to entertain Li Yu in person. Li Yu was also very surprised by the enthusiasm of the Xuan clan, but he did not feel any discomfort, and responded with the same enthusiasm. This is a new book by a newcomer. The author does not have much experience. I hope that friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 87, Battle of Divine Beasts, The Road to Power. At the banquet, the leader of the Xuan clan also expressed the idea that the other 3 families wanted to trade with Li Yu. If Li Yu also had the same skills, they would exchange with Li Yu on the same terms. And Li Yu did not hesitate and agreed directly. Then, Li Yu directly came to the secret realm of the other 3 families through the teleportation array. The transaction was soon over, and Li Yu once again obtained 90 million top-grade spirit stones, as well as 15 pieces of ores, special metals and other things. And in the next 3 transactions, because Shi Linfei felt that it was meaningless, she did not follow Li Yu, so Li Yu had to go alone. After the transaction, because Li Yu wanted to go back quickly and then go to the magical continent, he directly refused the hospitality of the 4 major families and took Shi Linfei back to Lanjiang using the teleportation array again. After saying goodbye to Xuan Wuying, Li Yu and his friends returned to the villa. Seeing their son come back, Li's father and mother were naturally very happy. After the family had dinner together, Li Yu left the villa and drove towards the city on the pretext of sending Shi Linfei home. However, on the way, the real Li Yu and Shi Linfei disappeared directly under the power of the system and came to the magical continent. And the ones sitting in the car were their puppet clones. But when Shi Linfei's clone returned home, he was not discovered by his master's wife at all, and the same was true for Li Yu. The clone replaced Li Yu and others, and started the business of the store. Among them, Li Yu's clone was the store manager, responsible for security and jade processing, and Shi Linfei's clone was responsible for managing the hired waiters. Li's father and mother were responsible for managing the finances and calculating the accounts. In fact, there was nothing to calculate. It was a business with no capital at all, just a formality. As for Li Yu's cousin Li Kaheo, he has not come to work yet because he is still traveling around. Even if he came, Li Yu did not plan to let him do odd jobs, but hired a jade carving master to be responsible for carving jade and teach Lee Kaheo the skills of jade carving. Everything on the earth is over. Let's not talk about it for now and return our attention to the real Liu. At this time, Liu finally returned to the magical continent again, and Shilin Fui was so excited to see such a beautiful world with so many magical species that she ran around everywhere. Liu was not impatient. After all, when he first took the adventure, he was even more excited than Shilin Fui. So he just let Shilin Fui play with the elves while he squatted on the ground and began to check the task information just released by the system. That's right, just when Liu came to the magical continent, the system suddenly released a task, and this task was actually something that Liu could have received a long time ago, but because he had been staying on Earth, the system did not remind him. Now that he has come to the magical continent again, the system has also actively released the task to Liu. As for why the system would not actively release it on Earth, it is unknown. Would I tell you that it was actually the author who forgot? Mission, Authority Upgrade Mission Requirements. 1. Go to the Trainers Guild and obtain the title of Junior Trainer. 2. Go to any gym and obtain a gym badge. This mission looks very simple and easy, but I don't know what the level assessment and the specific process of the gym battle are. Although the mission requirements are simple, Liu has never learned these specific information, and he is not sure that he can complete the mission. Because this magical continent is not exactly the same as in the anime, it is a real world with a brand new system. It is not as innocent and full of fun as depicted in the anime. Thinking quietly about the next itinerary, Liu looked at Shilin Fui playing games on the beach and fell into a daze. Dividing line. Liu, what should we do in the future? Seeing Liu thinking about the problem there, Shilin Fui walked up, sat with him, and then asked about his future plans. Well, because I plan to follow the example of Xiaozi in the anime, taking risks step by step, improving my strength and state of mind. So now we will go to Kingmu Town first, because that is where I first traveled through. After thinking about it, Liu told Shilin Fui his idea. In fact, Liu didn't know where to start, but after thinking about it, he chose Kingmu Town. Because it is not only the place where Liu first traveled through, but also the place where his system was activated. Well, by the way, Liu, will it be troublesome for me to go with you like this? I don't have an identity here. Is it dangerous? Suddenly, as if she thought of something, Shilin Fui suddenly looked at Liu worriedly and directly asked the two questions that Liu was most worried about. Actually, there may be trouble, but if we are careful, it should be fine. It's just that you may have to be a little wronged, and you can't do many things. This kind of thing can't be joked about. Liu simply made it clear to Shilin Fui. I'm sorry, Liu, if I didn't have to go with you, you don't have to be so embarrassed. Otherwise, I'd better go back. Shilin Fui said. Silly, what are you talking about? As long as you are happy, what does this little problem matter? Just be at ease. Liu reached out and hugged the beauty into his arms and comforted her softly. Dividing line. Mutuo, let's go. It's time to leave. After staying in the new island for a whole morning, it was finally time to leave. Although he was reluctant to leave the elves here, Liu still said the words of leaving. Well, damn it. Liu, you stay here first and wait for me to come back. Don't go to the sea. It's very dangerous there. After responding, Mutuo was ready to take Liu back to Kingmu Town. Suddenly, Mutuo frowned, as if he sensed something, and just said something unclear, and then teleported away. Hey, what's going on? You leave without explaining it clearly. It's always like this. Liu kept muttering in dissatisfaction, but he was not afraid of the danger mentioned by Mutuo, but was curious to know what was going on. However, Liu still obeyed Mutuo's instructions. After all, even Mutuo said it was dangerous, so it was definitely not something Liu could touch. He should just stay on the new island, above the endless sea. Boom boom boom. The fierce attacks collided with each other, and the world was turned upside down, and the huge waves surged endlessly. A Pokémon that looked like a dragon, but not a dragon, like a bird, but not a bird, roared angrily, and then the calm sky was suddenly covered with thunderclouds, and the whistling thunder struck the human in front of him. A new book by a newcomer. The author does not have much experience, and I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 88 Mewtwo X Form vs Oak. HMPH. Lugia, you better submit to me. Just like this companion of yours. Look how beautiful he looks now. A sinister voice came out of that person's mouth, and he waved his hand, and the mysterious power directly protected his body. The thunders that struck the shield had no effect at all. Lugia roared angrily, and a deep blue energy ball condensed out, and then whistled and attacked the man. But for some reason, Lugia, who was originally a mythical beast, could easily resist his attack. Haha. Lugia, do you think you can still defeat me, now that your strength has plummeted? Dark Lugia, Dragon Dive. With a sinister smile, the man ordered another Lugia, that was exactly the same as Lugia, but with a slightly different color, to attack. Bang. Dark Lugia received the order, and suddenly black power emerged from his body. After the black energy enveloped his whole body, it instantly moved to Lugia's side and hit him violently. Lugia's strength dropped as the man said. He couldn't avoid the attack from Dark Lugia, who was one level lower than him. He was knocked away, and fell into the water, after sliding for several hundred meters. His momentum was weakened by another 3 points. Humph. It's come to this point, but you still refuse to surrender. Do you think you can defeat me with the strength you just gave birth to? Or just surrender to me honestly? I might let your child go, when I'm in a good mood. Dark Lugia also jumped into the water, and forced Lugia out of the water, when he was about to escape. Then the man sneered at Lugia and threatened. Humph. Damn human. It's you again, Oak. You are still so despicable. The sudden voice resounded in everyone's mind, but before everyone could react, Oak's pupils shrank instantly. Damn Mewtwo, it came so fast. This is trouble. Oak was originally going to complete some tasks, but he accidentally ran into Lugia who had just given birth, and then he wanted to take advantage of Lugia's power plummeting, and catch it as his own Pokémon. But the mythical beast is a mythical beast after all. Even if its power plummeted, it is not something he can subdue in a short time. The battle lasted for more than an hour, and it was about to succeed, but this Mewtwo suddenly ran out to make trouble. Oak felt that life was a fucking tragedy. Mewtwo, mind your own business. Otherwise, those Pokémon on your island will have a hard time. Oak threatened coldly, trying to force Mewtwo back. But he didn't think about it. Those Pokémon are Mewtwo's Achilles heel. In short, Oak was asking for death, and no one could stop him. Anger occupied his eyes, and Mewtwo remembered that the new island was destroyed before, and many Pokémon were killed and injured, and he immediately fell into a rampage state. Mental destruction. The violent mental energy turned into substance, forming the shape of a giant's hand, and slapped towards Oak and Dark Lugia. Boom boom boom. At this time, Oak's shield could no longer hold on, and shattered in an instant. Before he could cast the mysterious protection again, Mewtwo's attack took effect on him. However, although the attack was coming, Oak was not affected at all. Instead, Dark Lugia took the attack for Oak. Mewtwo, is that all you have? Oak arrogantly challenged Mewtwo. I want to see how many attacks he can take for you. Attribute control. Mewtwo didn't say much and attacked again, but Dark Lugia was not a decoration after all. After several attacks, they were all blocked, and Oak was not hurt at all. Although Dark Lugia took all the attacks, as long as the dark energy source existed, he could use the energy to restore himself and continue fighting. The battle was deadlocked for a while, and although Lugia wanted to help, he was seriously injured and had no power at all. HMPH. In that case, Super Evolution, Dark Lugia. Oak didn't want to waste any more time, so he used his ultimate move. Although Super Evolution would make him extremely weak for a short period of time, he couldn't do it now. Roar. Dark Lugia's body was filled with black light, and then it enveloped his entire body. Suddenly, the black light disappeared, and the Dark Lugia that appeared again had already revealed its appearance. The black wings had sharp feathers, and the purple feathers behind covered the wings. The dark blue eyes were very strange, and on his head were 3 purple feathers mixed with blue feathers. Especially on his forehead, a purple-black vortex pattern seemed to have a mysterious meaning. The Dark Lugia in the super evolution state suddenly surged countless times, and the surging black energy surged around him. Roaring, Dark Lugia's figure flashed wildly, and the speed was comparable to teleportation. Bang! Mewtwo was instantly attacked, and flew backwards for several thousand meters, but he seemed to have no feeling, and teleported back to the original place during the backward flight. Super evolution? Do you think you can do it? Hey. With a sneer, Mewtwo's body was surrounded by the same faint energy of nothingness, but this transparent energy gradually deepened, from transparent to white, from white to blue, and from blue to purple. When the energy turned purple, Mewtwo's super evolution was finally completed. At this moment, Mewtwo also changed its appearance. The biggest change was that it had a set of armor all over its body. This was Mewtwo's super evolution X form. The momentum of Mewtwo in the super evolution state was even colder, and its sharp eyes without a trace of emotion looked at Oak, as if it was a prehistoric beast, shocking Oak to retreat again and again. Super Mewtwo, I didn't expect you to have realized the mega evolution, but do you think that's enough? After being shocked, Oak suddenly said something incomprehensible, and then he saw Dark Lugia change again. Endless black energy suddenly gushed out of Dark Lugia's chest, instantly covering his entire body, and then gradually formed a purple-black armor. Doom and gloom. Boom. The energy with an evil aura formed a destructive beam, which directly bombarded Mewtwo. Mewtwo just raised his hand, and the same huge energy gushed out to form a shield. The destructive beam hit the shield, making a resounding explosion, shaking the seawater within 100 meters under his feet, and instantly forming a vacuum zone. At this time, Lugia's injuries recovered, and he wanted to help Mewtwo. But Mewtwo directly refused, and instantly took him back to the super energy space. Because Lugia's strength could not be fully exerted, he, who was at the level of a legendary beast, could not resist Mewtwo at all, or he didn't even think about resisting. What? I didn't expect it to be like this again. Seeing that the prey that was about to be caught was intercepted by Mewtwo again, the anger in Oak's pupils was burning. New author, new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Mewtwo in Danger. Okiyasu. Dark Lugia, use evil magic. When giving this order, Oak hesitated, because once this ability is used, Dark Lugia will suffer irreparable damage, especially in the Mega Evolution state. But seeing Mewtwo's sneer, and remembering that his plans were repeatedly destroyed by Mewtwo, Oak finally decided to do whatever it takes. Roar. Dark Lugia roared in pain, and then the breath on his body disappeared instantly, as if he was dead. But the trembling body showed that he was still alive. But a mysterious figure suddenly appeared behind Dark Lugia. The figure seemed to have no form, and it seemed to have, but it was not clear at all. But the momentum of the mysterious figure, but with an unmatched breath, just like an ant facing an elephant, Mewtwo actually felt like facing death. Damn it. Cursing secretly, Mewtwo gathered his mind, and did not look directly at the mysterious figure. Dark Lugia, nightmare curse. Without any words, Dark Lugia looked at Mewtwo with cold eyes, and seemed to have no movement. However, there was an inexplicable force that could not be seen nor touched, but entered Mewtwo's body through the eye contact. With a warning sign in his heart, Mewtwo wanted to avoid Dark Lugia's eyes, but Mewtwo suddenly found that he could not control his body at all. Boom. With a boom, Mewtwo's mind seemed to be a slideshow, and all the past experiences appeared in his mind. There were painful ones. Mewtwo, obey my orders and kill them. Why? Why was I made? There were happy ones. Mewtwo, let's be friends. Ling. King. Mewtwo, thank you for saving us. Thank you for protecting us. If it weren't for you, we would have been captured by those poachers all these years. There were angry ones. Why? Damn human. Why did you kill my child? Human. Human. Dividing line. Boom. Endless anger suddenly emerged in the eyes of the psychic, and all reason was gone. But upon closer inspection, his eyes were dull, and he was obviously affected by angry memories, causing his emotions to be controlled by an unknown force. Muto, don't those humans deserve to die? They poached Pokémon recklessly and used them for various evil experiments. And you were created by them. Don't you want to take revenge on them? Let them also suffer endless pain. A faint voice came, and Oak smiled at Muto, leading him to the edge of depravity step by step. That's right. Those humans deserve to die. Revenge. Humans deserve to die. Muto muttered to himself intermittently, but the anger in his eyes became more and more violent and uncontrollable. Very good, Muto. Now Muto, you release Lugia first, and then you can go for revenge. Seeing that Muto was completely controlled, Oak hurriedly stated his ultimate goal. Release Lugia, revenge. Muto moved his mind, and Lugia, who was originally in the super energy space, was teleported out, right between Muto and Oak. Ouch. As soon as he came out, before he could see what happened, Dark Lugia's attack landed on him. His whole body softened, and he fell straight into the sea. It was obvious that he was dying. This was normal. One was at the peak of his strength, and the other was seriously injured, and his strength plummeted. It was possible that he was seriously injured and was about to die. Very good, Muto, go, and take revenge. Those humans, damn. Throwing out a black Pokeball, Oak tempted Muto again. As for why he didn't capture Muto as well, it was because this state could only last for a short period of time. Then Muto would recover, and by then he would definitely be out of control. Instead of doing this, it would be better to let Muto cause some trouble for the Alliance, which would just attract the Alliance's attention and facilitate him to complete that secret mission. Kill the damned humans. After saying that, Muto was ready to go to the mainland to take revenge on humans. But at this moment, a murmur suddenly sounded in the empty sky. This voice sounded like the gods praying for all living beings, calling on the lost to turn back. It was also like the Buddha chanting scriptures, persuading people with evil thoughts to turn back. ZHU, you have repeatedly provoked the Alliance, and this time you dared to openly attack the Guardian Beast. I think you should not go back, stay. A strong male voice sounded, and then a middle-aged man with a stern face suddenly appeared in front of ZHU. At the same time, there were 3 elves, one of which was completely black, but at the same time, there was a yellow-white halo on its body, flashing like fluorescence. This was a moon elf. The moon elf kept muttering something, and then Cheomeng, who was in a violent state, and was controlled, and lost his mind, actually had a look of struggle in his eyes. The other elf was a turtle like an armored vehicle, covered with a hard brown shell, and its 4 thick legs had sharp claws. The most shocking thing was the cannons on both sides of his shoulders. 2 super cannons extended from the shell, and were casually placed on both sides of his shoulders. On each of his 2 arms, there was also a slightly smaller cannon. This was a fully evolved Blastoise. As soon as it appeared, it shot the black Pokeball away with 1 shot, and then quickly came to Lugia, and blocked it in front of it to prevent Oak from continuing to attack regardless of everything. The last Pokémon was a sleepy, chubby, fully evolved Snorlax. Snorlax floated on the sea, as if he was asleep, but the natural energy that kept gushing out meant that he was indeed awake at this time. The natural energy acted on Lugia, gradually recovering her injuries. But Lugia was a mythical beast after all, and the strength of ordinary Pokémon was not enough to completely heal her. However, Snorlax did not expect to be able to kill Lugia. He just wanted to restore Lugia's ability to recover temporarily due to his serious injuries. Sure enough, with the help of Snorlax, Lugia's aura gradually recovered. Then Lugia spread his wings, and endless natural energy immediately surged out of the sea, entering Lugia's body and recovering her injuries. But even so, she couldn't recover all her strength immediately, because she had just given birth. Most of her strength was given to her child. So even if she recovered, it would be good enough to have 1/3 of her strength in her heyday. What's more, she is now seriously injured. After this recovery, it's good enough for her to be able to protect herself. This is a new book by a newcomer. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment. Please do anything. Chapter 90 Mewtwo Explosion Super Energy Explosion. Damn it, why didn't you come earlier or later? Why did you show up when I was about to succeed? At this moment, Mew was so angry. He finally met Lugia, whose strength had plummeted. Just when he was about to defeat her, Mewtwo appeared. He finally defeated Mewtwo and was about to subdue Lugia, and he could also complete the secret mission with one stone. But who knew that the Kanto Guardian King, Okijingai, would show up to make trouble again? Humph. He is just a king, but he dares to speak so arrogantly. Mew snorted coldly, waved his hand, and 3 Pokeballs appeared in the air, and then 3 Pokémon appeared on the battlefield in an instant. These 3 Pokémon are Dark Salamander, Absol, and Night Giant. As soon as they appeared, these 3 Pokémon, under the command of Mew, pounced on Blastoise, Luna, and Snorlax, and instantly formed 3 battlefields. Dark Salamander faced Blastoise, Absol faced Luna, and Night Giant faced Snorlax. Because Mew's strength reached the champion level, while Damujingai was only at the peak level of the king. Therefore, Blastoise and his companions were always at a disadvantage in the battle, and were suppressed by Dark Salamander and his companions. Seeing that the 3 Pokémons were restrained, Damujingai did not get nervous at all. Instead, he took out 3 Pokeballs again, and released the Pokémons in them, Giant Claw Mantis, Fossil Pterosaur, and Thorn Dragon. I don't only have 3 Pokémons, Zumu. Let's see what other tricks you have. Damujingai sneered as he released 3 Pokémons again to surround Zumu. Humph. No matter how many ants there are, it will be useless. Dark Lugia, Dark Storm. Zumu shouted. Whoosh whoosh. The calm sea surface suddenly became windy and cloudy, and suddenly a black storm as high as 100 meters appeared and spread around, and Zumu and his companions were at the center of the storm. Destroy the death beam. Destroy the death beam. Destroy the death beam. The 3 elves of Okijingai used the same move at the same time, and the violent destruction death beams bombarded the black storm at the same time. Boom boom boom. The explosion resounded through the world, and the sea surface was instantly evaporated into a larger vacuum zone. The depth was at least 100 meters, which showed the intensity of the attack just now. A gust of sea breeze blew, and the water mist that had evaporated into gas was blown away, revealing the 2 sides of the battle. Okijingai, you are very good. If I give you a few more years, when you break through to the champion level, I will definitely not be your opponent. But now you are not my opponent at all. The gap between the champion and the king is impossible to cross. Oak said lightly, and once again commanded Dark Lugia to condense the next attack, Dragon Dive. The black light enveloped the whole body, making the wings of Dark Lugia like sharp blades, which could instantly cut everything in front of it into pieces. Sure. The figure disappeared instantly, and then a black line flashed quickly past the 3 elves. Ugh. 3 painful roars were heard. Mantis and the others had no time to react, and were directly cut into a bloody mess by the sharp wings of Dark Lugia. Big. Just when Oak was complacent, and wanted to taunt again, a cold voice suddenly sounded, directly blocking Oak's next words. Oak. Would you deserve die? Mewtwo's cold voice with infinite anger resounded in everyone's mind. Mewtwo, who was originally trapped in the illusion, and lost his mind due to anger, finally recovered under the awakening skill of the Moon Elf and his own firm will. But then, Mewtwo became even more angry, and the flames in his eyes seemed to burn Oak to ashes. Because in the illusion, Mewtwo once again experienced the most painful and helpless moment. At that time, Mewtwo was determined to avenge humans, and did many things that he regretted. This has always been a pain in his heart, like a dragon's reverse scale. Now that Oak had made him experience painful memories again, it instantly awakened the guilt, anger, fear, and timidity in Mewtwo's heart. As a result, Mewtwo's mind was instantly filled with anger, which was to say, he was possessed. Super Energy Blast. Crack. 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 Mewtwo put his hands together, stared at Oak with cold eyes, and invisible energy instantly enveloped every place around Oak, and then a sound like glass breaking was heard. Then the space around Oak gradually collapsed, and the space-time cracks that appeared kept pulling Oak, as if to exile him to another time and space. The pulling force became heavier and heavier, and Oak struggled to break free from the constraints of the space-time cracks, but the space-time cracks were all over his body, and he had nowhere to escape. Ouch. Air explosion. At this moment, Lugia, who had been quietly recovering from his injuries, suddenly launched an attack, and a full-strength attack directly attacked Oak, who was struggling to resist the space-time cracks. After launching this attack, Lugia's newly recovered strength was exhausted again, and his body, which had just recovered from a serious injury, became even more seriously injured. From this, we can also see that the guardian beasts are not without temper. Although their duty is to protect humans and elves, when they are angry, they don't care about their duties. Puff. Caught off guard, Oak was instantly bombarded by the bursting air and spit out a large mouthful of blood. At this time, the chaotic space-time crack also showed its power again, and pulled Oak into it and disappeared. Boom. 4,000 meters away, there was a sudden explosion, and a crack suddenly appeared in the calm air. Oak, who was swallowed by the space-time crack, came out in a mess with blood all over his body. He looked at Mutwo and others with a cold look, without saying anything, and called on Dark Lugia and others, and then dragged his seriously injured body to escape to the distance. Dark Lugia changed his form and instantly returned to his original form. Moreover, his aura was also sluggish, which was obviously a weak period after the super evolution. Coupled with the sequelae of using forbidden techniques, Dark Lugia was also seriously injured. Several other elves were also besieged and seriously injured. Although the magical continent advocates peace, we cannot be soft-hearted towards those who destroyed a piece of the continent, even the elves. These elves were subdued or controlled by people with bad intentions. Although their hearts were not bad, they helped the evil. Perhaps only death was their best relief. Don't chase. Okijingai who wanted to chase those elves and eliminate the troubles, but Mutwo, who couldn't bear it, suddenly said, yeah. Looking at Mutwo deeply, Okijingai nodded in agreement. Mutwo has always been aloof and arrogant in his heart, and has always kept humans away. Except for a certain person, Mutwo has always lived with elves, so he has always been very averse to killing elves. Newcomer and new book, the author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment please. Chapter 91 The battle ends, and Oak flees. Ouch. Just when Okijingai and Mutwo were silent, Lugia's painful groan attracted everyone's attention. It turned out that after Lugia launched a full-strength attack, his injuries were once again in his eyes, and his life was in danger. If he was not treated, he might become the first guardian beast to be slaughtered by humans. Attribute control. Mysterious power. Mutwo came to Lugia in an instant. First converted his own power attribute into restorative energy, and then injected it into Lugia's body with mysterious power. As a beast that is about to become a beast, Mutwo's power level is roughly the same as Lugia, so the healing effect is much higher than that of Snorlax. And Okijingai was not idle either. He hurried to Snorlax and took out the special recovery potion made by the Alliance for them to take. Because Snorlax and others were hit by the ultimate move of the super evolution form of Dark Lugia, they were not at the same level of Pokémon, so their injuries were not light. If they are not treated quickly, although they will not die, they will leave sequelae and affect their future strength improvement. Seeing that Snorlax and the others were exhausted, Jingai treated them, and then put them back into the Pokeball to let them rest. Lugia, how do you feel now? Are you feeling better? The continuous mysterious energy was injected into Lugia's body, and Mutwo also felt a little exhausted. After all, it was normal to be exhausted after continuous fighting and treating Lugia's injuries. Lugia wanted to struggle to get up in pain, but it was impossible to move in a short time, otherwise her injuries would definitely worsen again. Don't worry, I'll take you to see your child now. You just need to recuperate in Mutwo space, and come out when you get there. After asking Lugia where her child was, Mutwo took her back into the super energy space and prepared to leave. Mutwo, wait a minute. Jingai walked up and called Mutwo as if he wanted to say something. What's the matter? Mutwo said, looking at Jingai lightly. Mutwo, I hope to talk to that young man when you come back. Don't worry, I just have some questions to ask him. I don't have any other ideas. Okijingayu seemed to have some concerns, so he spoke very vaguely without any specific explanation. HMPH. Pretending. The alliance is always so hypocritical. I don't care what you do, but you are not allowed to touch that person, otherwise. With a cold snort, Muto finally agreed to Okijingayu's request. After all, with the style of the alliance, if they don't achieve their goals, they will never give up easily. Well, thank you. Then I'll wait for you at the Palatine, and Lugia will be troublesome to you. With a slight smile, since the goal was achieved, Okijingayu didn't say too much. He just nodded and disappeared in an instant. As for whether he was worried about Lugia's safety, if something happened with Muto around, there would be few people in the entire magical continent who could save her. After staring at the direction where Okijingayu left for a long time, Muto retracted his gaze and disappeared instantly, flying towards a small island. Dividing line. Hey, Muto always leaves like this and never comes back. It's really outrageous. The flowers are all withered waiting for him. On the new island, Liu, Shilinfei and Metagross had lunch together and then sat there bored waiting for Muto to come back, but it was almost dark before they could see it, and Muto hadn't come back yet. Liu, Cheonang may have something urgent to do, so don't complain. Let's wait a little longer. Although she was a little worried about Muto, Shilinfei was more rational than Liu, knowing that with Muto's strength, the chance of him getting into an accident was almost impossible. Well, okay. With a sigh, Liu could only helplessly take Shilinfei back to the system world to start practicing. Because recently Liu suddenly discovered that the spiritual energy in the system world was even more dense, almost reaching the level of spiritual energy turning into mist. Although he didn't know what happened in the system world, Liu's attention was attracted by another thing, that is, his strength was slowly improving. That's right, as long as Liu practiced in the system world, his strength would slowly improve. Although the speed was as slow as a turtle, it was much better than not making any progress. But what Liu didn't know was that somewhere in the system world, the 7-colored bead was constantly absorbing and exhaling spiritual energy. And the spiritual energy released by the 7-colored bead seemed to have an inexplicable power attribute. His sight turned back to Muto again. Lugia, your injuries have basically stabilized. As long as you take good care of your injuries, you will recover completely soon with your patron saint position. Lugia's safety is in your hands. With you here, I don't think anyone would dare to attack Lugia. Well, that's it. I'll leave first. On a small island, after Muto sent Lugia here, he followed Lugia to an underwater palace. This palace is like the Crystal Palace in Chinese legend, brilliant and splendid, as if it was carved out of a whole piece of jade, seamless and ingenious. Walking into the palace, a Pokémon egg was floating in the air, and water energy enveloped the Pokémon egg, and continued to flow into it. When Lugia saw his child, a ray of love flashed in his eyes, and he hurried to the Pokémon egg, to check the hatching of the Pokémon egg. Walking out of the palace, and coming to the sea, a group of islands are located in the endless sea. Not long after Muto and Lugia appeared on the sea, an old woman whose beautiful face was wiped out by time, floated in the air and quickly came to Muto. Muto, long time no see. How come you have time to come here? The old woman looked at Muto, and asked with some nostalgia and some sighs. Well, Lugia is injured, and I ask you to take care of her, and her child recently. Thank you. After a brief absence, Muto recovered quickly. Don't worry, I will definitely take good care of them. By the way, the boy you followed recently, the Alliance is going to take action. You have to pay attention, otherwise. And, go see him more often. Now he only has us old friends, although the Alliance. Hey. The old woman was both helpless and angry when she spoke to Muto, but in the end she burst into tears, as if she remembered something painful. Alliance. You treated him like this, but he still betrayed you in the end, so why bother? Muto said, and without waiting for the old woman to answer, he teleported away. Is it pitiful? But what can I do? For him, I'm willing to do anything. He should be the most pitiful, right? The old woman murmured, and followed Lugia back to the underwater palace, obeyed Muto's instructions, and protected Lugia's family. Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment. Please ask for anything. Chapter 92 sorry, a must read for book lovers. One chapter added today. Because there are too many book friends who voted, and I can't resist their enthusiasm. It takes Coke more than an hour every week, just to count the number of votes. In order to save time to type, Coke decided to change the way of thanking. I will send the screenshots of the votes to the questions group. Those who are interested, can join it to view. Questions group, God level players, group number 249,794,847 magical family, group number 678,356,965. In order to have more time to type, this must be done, otherwise it will waste too much time. I hope that all the book friends who voted can understand. Coke would like to express his gratitude here. I won't say much else, and continue with the third update today. Chapter 93, Alliance Attention, Super Clan. The night was slightly cool, the sea breeze was blowing, the waves were rippling, and the leaves in the forest were rustling. Cheo Meng, who had returned to the new island, floated quietly in the sky above the island, looking at the dark night in the distance in a trance. After a long time, he sighed slightly, not knowing why he sighed, but his tone was somewhat lonely, helpless, and resentful. The next day, the warm sunshine shone on the new island, awakening the sleeping elves, and a new day came again. Except for some special places in the magical continent, such as icebergs, snow, deserts, etc. The rest of the places are like spring all year round, and every day is the most comfortable weather. Of course, it is not that there is no division of seasons here, but even if it snows in winter, there is no feeling of freezing to death. It is just a little cold. After practicing all night, Li Yu finally felt the improvement of his strength again. He happily brought Shilin Fei to the outside world, just in time to see Cheo Meng sitting quietly in the open space outside the castle. Mutuo, when did you come back? And where did you go all day yesterday? We were so worried about you. Seeing that Mutuo finally came back, Shilin Fei asked happily, but a little worriedly. Hey, Mutuo, you are always like this, leaving without explaining clearly. What the hell are you doing? Li Yu also asked in annoyance, but there was a sense of worry in his tone. Humph, I'm not in any danger, but you too may not be. Now the psychic department has also learned to be bad, and only speaks half of the words, which makes Li Yu feel like a cat scratching his heart. What? What do you mean? Could it be? Although he thought of a possibility, Li Yu still didn't want to believe this fact, so he asked, HMPH. That's right, the Alliance has already suspected you, because your behavior is so weird, that they feel that you are out of control. So, they have begun to investigate you, and they also asked me to take you to the mainland for questioning. If you hadn't been with me all the time, they would have taken action against you long ago. As for what to do to you, either control you, or destroy you. Mutuo seemed to have recalled some bad memories, and at the end, he even gritted his teeth, which made Li Yu terrified. What? Li Yu, what else can we do? Having heard Li Yu talk about the existence of the Alliance and its strength a long time ago, Shilin Fei was a little flustered when she heard Mutuo's sinister words. It's okay, let me think about it. To calm down, Li Yu knew that he must not lose his composure at this time, and he must be calm to come up with a solution. Mutuo, what do you think I should do? Am I going to leave like this? I'm not willing. I really am not willing. However, no matter how hard Li Yu racked his brains, he could not think of a way to fight against the Alliance, because the gap between the two was like heaven and earth, and it was impossible to cross it. What can I do? Unless... At the end of his words, Mutuo stopped talking. Thinking of the old man, Mutuo felt that, since he had chosen Li Yu, he would definitely not just watch Li Yu being investigated by the Alliance. Unless what? Hearing that there seemed to be a chance for things to turn around, Li Yu asked, as if he was grasping the last hope. Nothing, don't worry. I feel that this may be a good thing, so you can go with peace of mind. At worst, if something goes wrong, I will bring you back, and then you can leave the magical continent and return to Earth, and never come back again. Mutuo was sure that the old man would definitely take action, so he no longer worried before, and he was completely watching the show, and encouraged Li Yu. You guy, really, you don't help, and still say sarcastic things. He said so, but he was just complaining. Because Muto's suggestion seemed to be the best way at the moment. If it really doesn't work, he can only leave the magical continent like Muto said, and come back when he is strong enough to resist the alliance in the future. With Muto's teleportation ability, Liu and his friends quickly arrived at their destination. This is a very prosperous city, much better than the Lanling City and Lingyu City that Liu had been to before. Especially the 1-kilometer high technology building next to the city center is very spectacular and luxurious. The top floor of this building is the destination of Liu and his friends. There is only one room on the top floor of this building, and in this luxuriously decorated room of thousands of square meters, 2 people are talking at the moment. The 2 people who were talking happily seemed to feel something, and looked out the window together. At this time, Chao Meng also teleported to this room with Liu and Shilin 3. Chao Meng, you are here. Young man, come on, let me introduce you. This is. When Damu Jingyu saw Chao Meng finally arrived, especially after seeing Liu, a glimmer of inspiration flashed in his eyes. He walked up to Liu and wanted to introduce him to the middle-aged woman standing on the other side. Okay, Damu Jingyu, you'd better save your tricks. Liu is the next generation of Divine Beast Master predicted by the ancestors. Whether you admit it or not, this is the fact. So no matter what your alliance thinks, you'd better take it back, otherwise the ancestors will come to you personally to talk. The middle-aged woman interrupted Damu Jingyu directly, and her smiling expression turned cold, and her words were ruthless. Don't bother him, I will report to the alliance. Damu Jingyu was embarrassed when he saw his little tricks being ruthlessly exposed. He was at a loss for a moment, and didn't know what to say. Hello, Liu, I'm the Divine Beast Master of the Chao clan, Lin Lisi. This should be our first meeting, but I have been curious about you for a long time. I don't know what's so special about you. Even the ancestors praised you, and asked me to pass the position of this generation of Divine Beast Master to you. Lin Lisi looked at Liu curiously, just like looking at a monkey in a zoo. Who is the ancestor? What is a Beast Master? And why do you give this Beast Master to me? Lin Lisi's words confused Liu. He didn't know what was going on. This scene was completely different from what he imagined. This is what happened. Lin Lisi saw that Liu didn't understand anything. Although she was very surprised why the ancestor gave the important task of the Beast Master to a young man with low strength. But she still firmly followed the instructions of the ancestor and explained the status and responsibilities of the Beast Master, as well as the history and mission of the Chao clan, to Liu in detail. This is a new book by a newcomer. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 94, First Hearing of the Divine Beast Envoy. Oh, so that's why. But why did you choose me? I'm just an ordinary person, and I really can't bear this heavy responsibility that concerns the peace and tranquility of the continent. After listening to Lin Lisi's introduction, Liu realized that the Chao clan was actually a family that specialized in communicating the relationship between the divine beasts and humans, and maintaining the normal order of the continent. It is said that this family is favored by the god of creation, so they have the superpower to calm the anger of the divine beasts and even borrow the power of the guardian beasts for a short period of time. And it is precisely for this reason that the Chao clan can be said to be one of the most powerful families in the entire continent, and almost no one dares to provoke them easily. Because provoking them will not only attract the anger of the Chao clan, but also the revenge of the guardian beasts. And those families that believe in the guardian beasts will even lose the blessing of the guardian beasts, which will lead to the decline of the family and become mediocre. There is also a legend that once the Chao clan is under a fatal threat, such as the danger of extinction, then the legendary super beast creator, Arceus, will appear in person to save them. Of course, it is unknown how true this last legend is. Since the establishment of the Chao tribe on the mainland, basically no one dares to provoke them. The Divine Beast Envoy is a representative of the Chao tribe walking on the road. It can be said that, if Liu inherits the position of the Divine Beast Envoy, then he represents not only himself, but the guardian beasts of the entire continent. After inheriting the position of the Divine Beast Envoy, Liu can use the Divine Beast bracelet and sign a contract with the Guardian Beast. Once the contract is signed with the Guardian Beast, Liu can summon the Guardian Beast to fight for him. Of course, he can only summon the Guardian Beast when he encounters a threat to the safety of the continent, or when he encounters an unmatched opponent and endangers his own life. Otherwise, if you summon the Guardian Beast at will regardless of the big or small things, once it causes dissatisfaction with the Guardian Beast, at the least, the Guardian Beast will tear up the contract, and you will sign a contract with other Guardian Beasts again. If they are still willing to sign a contract with you, at the worst, the position of the Divine Beast Envoy will be directly deprived, and he will become an ordinary person. From then on, you will no longer enjoy the privilege of being helped by the Guardian Beast, and respected by everyone on the mainland. As for which Guardian Beast to sign a contract with, it all depends on Liu's luck. First, Liu needs to inject his own power into the Beast Bracelet. Then the Guardian Beast that senses your power source will choose whether to sign a contract with you, based on the degree of compatibility of the power source. With Liu's current strength, he can only sign a contract with one Guardian Beast for the time being. However, as long as his strength reaches the king level trainer, he can sign a second contract with the Guardian Beast. Of course, even if he does not sign a contract, once the Beast Master encounters danger, he can also use the Beast Bracelet to ask for help, and the beasts that sense the distress signal will come to help you. Do you think you have any other options now? Lin Lisi glanced at Damu Jingyu, then looked at Liu meaningfully. It seems not. Seeing Lin Lisi's eyes, Liu suddenly remembered his current predicament. Then Liu found that he actually had no other choice, unless he chose to escape back to Earth in embarrassment. And on second thought, inheriting the position of the Beast Master is not a bad thing. Not only can he solve the current dilemma, but he can also get the help of the Guardian Beast. Then he can walk sideways on the continent in the future. That is a Guardian Beast. It is recognized by the laws of heaven and earth, and can borrow the power of heaven and earth to fight. It is beyond the existence of ordinary beasts. There are only a handful of them on the entire continent. That's it. Lin Lisi rolled her eyes at Liu. She really didn't know why she hesitated about such a great thing. If it weren't for the ancestors' order to help Liu, well, Lin Lisi really wanted to beat him up. Okay, what should I do now? Although he agreed to inherit the position of the Beast Master, Liu didn't know anything about the specific process. Well, it's very simple, but it won't work in a place like this. If you don't have anything else to do, just come with me. Although the process of inheriting the Beast Master is not complicated, it can't be done casually. You must prepare. Well, it seems that there is nothing to do. Liu said this sentence with some lack of confidence. He secretly glanced at Damu Jingyu, who was standing next to him, and was embarrassed throughout the whole process. Well, Liu, I don't have anything to do. I just want to meet you. You can leave if you want. But the person next to you should not have an identity in the alliance, right? If possible, you'd better come again. I will help you solve her identity problem. Then it will be more convenient for you to travel on the mainland in the future. Finally someone noticed him, but why was it still so awkward? Damu Jingyu was a little helpless, but since the matter was done, he might as well be a good person and do a favor. Thank you very much, Mr. Damu. That's great. Unexpectedly, there was an unexpected gain. Liu was very happy and no longer had the hostility he had before. When Linfei heard that Damu Jingyu was willing to help her solve her identity problem, she immediately smiled and her heart, which had been hanging for a long time, finally fell. Damu Jingyu, I hope you can report to the alliance well, and don't cause unnecessary trouble, otherwise it will be difficult for everyone. Before leaving, Lin Lisi said to Damu Jingyu again. Then she took Liu and Linfei and disappeared directly to the sky outside the window. Then a huge Dragonite suddenly appeared, and Liu and the others stood directly on the back of Dragonite. Dragonite flapped its wings fiercely and disappeared in a flash. The speed was not much slower than teleportation. As for Mutuo, no one knew where it went. It might still be with Jingyu Omu. So Liu didn't worry too much and just followed Lin Lisi away. Jingyu, how is he now? Is his injury better? Mutuo looked at the prosperous city outside the window, Thinking of the painful memories at the beginning, a trace of sadness flashed in his eyes, and he asked with a sigh, "Well, the ancestor has almost recovered now. After all, so many years have passed. And the ancestor accidentally touched that threshold, so he is now in seclusion." When Jingayomi talked about the ancestor, his tone was full of worship and respect, as if he was a fanatic. Well, after so much delay, it can finally be regarded as making up for the regret at the beginning. Say hello to him for me, I won't disturb him. After that, Muto disappeared. Champion. What a desirable realm. I don't know what he was thinking. After a long silence, Oki Jingayu said faintly. Dividing line. New author, new book. I don't have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment. Please do anything. Chapter 95. Inheritance Shocking Vision. On the nameless mountain, Linlissy handed a purple gold bracelet to Liu. Then she asked with a serious face, Liu, I, Linlissy, will now pass on the position of the 213th generation of the Divine Beast Envoy to you. Are you willing to use your life to fulfill the mission of protecting the continent, protecting the elves, and protecting humans? I, Liu, am willing to use my life as a guarantee to accept the position of the Divine Beast Envoy and fulfill my due responsibilities. Liu stretched out his hands to take the Divine Beast bracelet and suddenly felt that he had a sense of mission, and with it came excitement and excitement. Well, I look forward to your performance. Now, inject your power source into the Divine Beast bracelet and sign a contract with your first guardian beast. Linlissy said with satisfaction. Well, after responding, Liu put the Divine Beast bracelet on his wrist. Although this bracelet is a girl's jewelry, it does not feel out of place on Liu's wrist at all, but gives people a sense of mystery. But, as soon as Liu raised his hand, the spiritual energy in his body surged out of his hand and then entered the Divine Beast bracelet. Boom. After sensing the source of Liu's power, a mysterious formation in the Divine Beast bracelet was suddenly triggered, and it was like the world was turned upside down. How? A fairy suddenly flew out from a rolling magma far away. This fairy was covered with fiery red feathers, and on the edge of its feathers were colorful feathers. This fairy howled towards the east, as if responding to something. In the Crystal Palace under the Endless Sea, Lugia was taking care of her child. Suddenly, she didn't know what she sensed, and a trace of astonishment flashed in her eyes. But after looking at the newly born child and her seriously injured body, Lugia still chose to stay here. But looking at her eyes looking to the west from time to time, you can still see her inner thoughts. Roar. Far above the sky, a green figure more than 10 meters long was constantly rolling in the sea of clouds. Suddenly, the green figure roared and flew towards the ground, and the surrounding clouds were stirred up. But, in a certain empty space hall, two elves were resting comfortably on the hall. Suddenly, the two elves opened their eyes at the same time, and the surrounding time and space also stagnated. Looking at each other, the two elves seemed to have reached a consensus. The pink and white figure flashed a mysterious light in the eyes, and then a crack in time and space appeared directly. The two elves did not hesitate and went into it and disappeared. In addition, in a green grassland, or thunderous canyon, a gloomy and terrifying forest, a giant tree that was thousands of years old, and connected the sky and the earth. Countless mysterious figures appeared at this moment, all looking towards a place in Kanto. If someone could see the whole picture of the entire continent, they would find that the intersection of the sight lines of these mysterious figures was actually Liu. The entire continent was in a brief turmoil at this moment, because of Liu's inheritance. It was still that ethereal place, and that platinum-colored figure, but the aura on his body was much worse than last time. Really? Are you going to comprehend so soon? I hope you can wake up soon. Maybe. No, you should be the most likely to solve him, right? However, you should also be the last hope, because his power is about to reach the point where it cannot be suppressed. The intermittent voice of the platinum-colored figure resounded in the empty and lonely space. But from his words and tone, it seemed that it was a matter of life and death. Let's turn the picture back to Liu. As Liu's power source continued to be injected, the Divine Beast bracelet gradually radiated a dazzling light. Even Damu Jingayu, who was hundreds of miles away, could see the light clearly. This I didn't expect his talent to be so amazing. This inheritance phenomenon seems to be even better than that person's. That person's choice was indeed foresighted. It seems that the Alliance will suffer this time. But it's time for those people in the Alliance to suffer. Damu Jingayu looked at the brilliance rising into the sky in the distance, shocked beyond words. But thinking of the Alliance's imminent defeat, Damu Jingayu couldn't help but raise a mocking smile at the corner of his mouth. Not only Damu Jingayu, but also anyone with life within a few hundred miles around Li Yu's location can see the phenomenon here. After seeing this strange phenomenon, some people were extremely shocked and speechless. Some people showed a thoughtful look on their faces, and some people's eyes flashed, and they were eager to make a move. Li Yu, use your power source to feel the Divine Beast bracelet, and see which guardian beasts respond to you, and then you can choose one as your contractor. After choosing, you can sign a contract through power resonance, and then you can summon him to help you in the future. Lin Lissy saw that the time was almost up, so she directed Li Yu. Well, nodding, Li Yu followed Lin Lissy's instructions, attached his mental power to the power source, and probed into the Divine Beast bracelet. But the breath he felt in the bracelet immediately made Li Yu stand there. For a moment, he didn't know what to do. What's wrong? Li Yu, didn't you sense it? It shouldn't be. Seeing Li Yu's appearance, Lin Lissy thought he didn't sense a guardian beast, so for a moment he didn't know what to say. No, is this bracelet broken? Why are there so many spiritual powers? That's right, Li Yu sensed, not just one spiritual power of the guardian beast in the Divine Beast bracelet, but dozens of them. Although some were strong and some were weak, there were at least 6 or 7 particularly powerful auras. Shocked, Li Yu didn't expect his luck to be so amazing that these guardian beasts were willing to sign a contract with him. Li Yu attributed the fact that so many guardian beasts were willing to sign a contract with him to good luck, not because of his specialness. But it's not Li Yu's fault. After all, his current strength is low, and he hasn't reached the level of being able to see through everything. And his power is not exactly what those guardian beasts know. Because under the effect of the mysterious 7 colored beads, the source of Li Yu's power has formed a special existence. This power has surpassed what ordinary people can have, and it is an unprecedented power. Preview. Do you want to know which guardian beast signed a contract with the protagonist? If you are interested, you can leave a message at the end of this chapter to see if you can guess it right. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 Contract Celebi. But the guardian beasts were different. They could sense that the source of Li Yu's power actually contained his special aura. All the guardian beasts, even the ordinary elves, were in awe, worship, and madness for him. Even if they were asked to sacrifice their lives for him, they would not hesitate at all. Therefore, basically all the guardian beasts responded to Li Yu at the same time, wanting to sign a contract with him. Even if this meant that they would have to appear immediately when Li Yu summoned them in the future and help him for free. What? A lot. How many are there? Hearing Li Yu's words, Lin Lissy suddenly screamed in surprise, without the steadiness of an adult or the reserve of a woman. It seems to be 20. No, it's 30. I can't count them. Too many. These powerful mental powers mixed together, and they rushed to Li Yu's power source one after another, wanting to sign a contract with him. As a result, Li Yu could not clearly calculate the specific number. Then you can do whatever you want. You can choose anyone. Completely speechless, Lin Lissy had never seen such a perverted person. Surprisingly, all the guardian beasts are willing to sign a contract with him. When Lin Lissy inherited the position of the Beast Master, only 7 guardian beasts were willing to sign a contract with him for the first time. And there was only one super beast among them, which was one of the guardian beasts she had contracted with now, Space Controller, Porkia. But Li Yu, this pervert, actually had so many choices for the first time. He was simply not a human. How could the guardian beast choose the contractor? It was obviously Li Yu who chose the guardian beast. Okay, well, let me think about it. There are so many guardian beasts. If I choose, well, because my current strength is too low. So it's best to choose an auxiliary one, preferably one with the ability to bring back the dead. But which one is the guardian beast with this ability? According to his current situation, Li Yu carefully analyzed and found that the guardian beast that can save lives at critical moments is the most suitable. But after thinking it over, when Li Yu went to choose, he suddenly found that he couldn't tell which one had the ability to save lives. Just when Li Yu had this thought, one of the spiritual powers, although the strength of which could only be ranked in the upper middle level, but with a trace of natural energy, directly entered into the source of Li Yu's power. As for the remaining dozens of spiritual powers, they were directly excluded by the Divine Beast bracelet and could not approach at all. Are you sure to sign the contract? In the dark, a vague message that came from nowhere came into Li Yu's mind. Well, confirmed. With the transmission of that voice, Li Yu also knew who the guardian beast represented by the spiritual power with a natural breath was. He also knew the ability he had, which happened to be exactly what Li Yu desired. But, with Li Yu's confirmation, that spiritual power directly merged with Li Yu's source of power, and then was pulled by the inexplicable rules in the Divine Beast bracelet and disappeared directly. At the same time, Li Yu also sensed that a guardian beast had contact with him. Li Yu felt that, as long as he used the Divine Beast bracelet, he could summon the guardian beast and make it appear by his side instantly to help him. With a thought, Li Yu directly communicated with the Divine Beast bracelet with his mental power, and then sent a request to summon the guardian beast. Then, the Divine Beast bracelet burst into green light again. Sure. The light dissipated, and a cute sign elf appeared in front of Li Yu. Lappy. As soon as the sign elf appeared, it immediately flew around Li Yu happily, and kept shouting excitedly. Hello, silly bee. My name is Li Yu, and I will be your contractor from now on. If I ask you for something, don't refuse. Li Yu was also very happy to look at the cute elf in front of him, and smiled slightly. Lappy. Li Yu. Hello, I'm the controller of nature, silly bee, and I'm also very happy to be your contracted guardian beast. Silly bee flew around Li Yu for a few circles, and finally landed on Li Yu's head, clenched his little fist, and said with an expression of I'm here for you. That's right, the contracted guardian beast that Li Yu finally chose was Silly Bee with the attribute of natural grass and superpowers. These two attributes appear on the same elf, which can be said to be an absolutely agile nurse. The first is the natural grass attribute. Silly Bee with this attribute can comprehend the power of nature and thus have the ability to manipulate plants. It can even absorb the power of nature from the heaven and earth to restore itself. Then there is the superpower attribute. Silly Bee's superpower is biased towards the time system, so once in danger, he can immediately get into the long river of time, that is, travel through time, and no one can catch him at all. Even Silly Bee can travel through time and space and return to the past time and space, so no one can do anything to him. Of course, this ability to return to the past time and space is not without any restrictions. First of all, it cannot be used easily. Using it once will consume a lot of original power, and more seriously will lead to loss of ability or even death. There is also the inability to change the history of the past. If you go back to the past and have a great impact on the past, then the long river of time will automatically separate a tributary, that is, the same world, with a different direction. Therefore, no matter how you go back to the past, you can't change what has happened. You can only helplessly watch what should happen still happen, and what shouldn't happen will never happen. Or after changing the direction of time and space, stay there forever and never return to your original time and space so that you can change history in another way. There is no point in saying more, or the attributes can explain everything. After the system's identification, Li Yu got the attributes of Silly Bee as follows. Name, Silly Bee attributes, Psychic System Natural Grass System Qualification, Mythical Level 100 Ability, Psychic Control, Comprehend the origin of psychic power, Control the power of psychic power, Bias towards the time system, 99%, Natural Control, Comprehend the origin of nature, Control the power of nature, Grass. System Recovery, 99%, Self-created skills, Time Shuttle, able to use the power of time travel to go back and forth between the past and the present. Time Rewind, use the power of time to restore it to the state of a previous point in time. Time Guardian, the power of time automatically blesses itself, immune to any attack that cannot break the time blockade and abnormal state. Self-recovery. What do you think of Celebi? Is it okay? Chapter 97. The strongest support Celebi. Name. Celebi attributes. Psychic plus natural grass qualification. Mythical grade 100 abilities. Psychic control. Understand the origin of psychic. Control the power of psychic. Bias towards time. 99%. Natural control. Understand the origin of nature. Control the power of nature. Grass recovery. 99%. Self-created skills. Time travel. Able to use the power of time travel to go back and forth between the past and the present. Time rewind. Use the power of time to restore it to the state of a certain point in time before. Time Guardian. The power of time automatically blesses itself, immune to any attack that cannot break the time blockade, as well as abnormal status. Self-recovery. The power of nature automatically blesses itself and can quickly recover from injuries. Natural gift. Accept the gift of nature and recover from injuries through the natural power between heaven and earth. Magic illumination. The light of time shines, and any existence will be transformed into its most primitive form. Song of destruction. Sing the music of death, and send the living to the land of death. After reading Celebi's attributes, Liu was so excited. He didn't expect Celebi's attributes to be even stronger than Mutuo, but thinking that Mutuo was only sub-god level after all, Liu was relieved. Liu, you actually signed a contract with Celebi, but why? Why would Celebi take the initiative to sign a contract with humans? After seeing Celebi appear, Linless was in a state of shock and even stuttered when she spoke. Lappy. She called Linless a few times in dissatisfaction, and Celebi lay comfortably on Liu's head with a satisfied expression on his face. Time attribute. Could it be reincarnation? Because Liu has the ability of the language of the elves, he can easily understand Celebi's words. After hearing Celebi say that he has a very strong affinity with time, Liu thought about it and finally remembered that he was practicing 5-element yin and yang ju. Therefore, the source of power cultivated by Liu is naturally endowed with various attributes, and the time attribute is exactly among them. Moreover, Liu also practiced a spell of reincarnation, so his affinity with time would far exceed other attributes. After thinking it through, Liu secretly sighed that he was lucky. If he hadn't been lucky enough to practice these two skills, he wouldn't have been close to Celebi, let alone signed a contract. Liu, is this Celebi? So cute. At this time, Shi Linfei, who had been quietly watching Liu accept the inheritance, finally reacted. After all, this scene was too shocking, and she was just an ordinary girl. Labby. Before Liu could answer, Celebi flew directly into Shi Linfei's arms, just like a child, acting cute in her arms. Seeing Shi Linfei and Celebi playing happily, Liu couldn't help but smile slightly. But Linlessy, who was standing next to him, was even more shocked and speechless. It was understandable that Celebi was close to Liu, but he was so close to Shi Linfei. Could it be that the guardian beast would love the whole house as well? Silently drawing circles in the corner, Linlessy didn't know what to say to Liu. The ancestors valued him and passed the position of the beast master to him. Anyway, even if the position of the beast master was inherited by Liu, he could still summon the guardian beast that had signed a contract. The beast master is actually equivalent to an identity. Anyone who has a beast bracelet and is recognized by the Cheoke clan can sign a contract with the beast. Of course, this does not mean that the Cheoke clan can arbitrarily let others inherit the position of the beast master. Because of certain rules, once the Cheoke clan abuses their abilities, they will be unanimously rejected by the guardian beasts. Without the trust of the guardian beasts, the Cheoke clan is basically not far from extinction. Dividing line. Liu, my goal this time has basically been accomplished, and it's time to leave. But I still want to remind you that, although you have the position of the divine beast envoy, it does not mean that you can do whatever you want. Otherwise, I will personally take back your ability. Don't think that we can't do anything just because you have signed the contract. The means of our Cheoke clan are not what you can imagine. Before leaving, Lin Lissy still warned Li Yu. Regardless of whether Li Yu will do something against his conscience in the future, Lin Lissy must prepare for it. After all, the Divine Beast Envoy is the messenger of the Cheoke clan, representing the dignity and mission of the family. The Cheoke clan's honor for thousands of years cannot be damaged because of Li Yu, an outsider. Well, don't worry. No matter what happens in the future, I will follow my heart and will not do anything against my conscience. Looking at Lin Lissy sincerely, Li Yu said firmly. Without saying anything, Lin Lissy took a deep look at Li Yu for the last time and then summoned the giant dragonite again and left directly. Li Yu, she just left like that. How can we go back? Just as Li Yu looked up with a deep face, Shi Lin for his words directly brought him back to square one. Don't worry, we have a flying skateboard and we can go back soon. Because Lin Lissy had taken Li Yu and his friends to this nameless mountain at least 200 kilometers away from Pallet City. So if they want to go back, it will not only waste time, but also be very troublesome. After all, they have to bypass those cities along the way. After all, flying over the cities is prohibited. In this way, Li Yu and his friends will have to spend more time to return to Pallet City again. Thinking of this, Li Yu began to miss Muto's teleportation ability. That feeling, reaching hundreds of miles in an instant, it was really cool. And even if Muto teleported a long distance continuously, Li Yu did not feel dizzy. Unfortunately, it is unknown whether Muto is still staying with Okijingayu. Even if Li Yu followed Lin Lissy away, he had no intention of following. Let's go. Taking out the flying skateboard in the system world, Li Yu, Shi Lin Fei, and Celebi, who was clinging to Li Yu, entered the skateboard space directly. Then Li Yu manipulated the flying skateboard and followed the navigation to the Pallet City. For some reason, Celebi directly occupied the position above Li Yu's head after signing the contract with Li Yu, and obviously did not intend to leave. And Li Yu also wished that Celebi could follow him all the time. So he directly welcomed Celebi to join without any rejection or dissatisfaction. Seeing this, Shi Lin Fei became even more envious and jealous. After all, she didn't have a single elf now. On the other hand, Li Yu not only conquered a lot of elves, but even the mythical beasts such as Muto and Celebi voluntarily followed him and were unwilling to leave. Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment please. Chapter 98, The Gift from the Oki Family. Seeing Shi Lin Fei's jealous look, Li Yu certainly wouldn't let her down, but remembering that the elf egg would take 2 days to hatch, Li Yu simply decided to keep quiet and wait for the elf to hatch before giving her a surprise. After more than 2 hours, Li Yu and his team finally returned to Pallet City. When they came to the super building again, before Li Yu could say anything to the service staff, Damu Jingayu's communication reached the ears of the person in charge of the first floor. The person in charge hurriedly found Li Yu and Shi Lin Fei, and then took them upstairs without stopping. To be honest, Li Yu, I didn't expect your talent and luck to be so strong. I remember that the guardian beast Celebi seemed to have never been recognized by the Super Conquer clan in its history. But you actually made such a big fuss and signed a contract with a guardian beast like Celebi with supernatural power. Now, the alliance is in trouble. As soon as he saw Li Yu, Damu Jingayu was shocked by the Celebi above Li Yu's head. Hey, you're not working for the alliance. Hearing what Damu Jingayu said and seeing his half smile, he looked like he wanted to watch the show. Li Yu was a little confused for a moment, not knowing which side he was on. Alliance. I'm not working for the alliance. The reason I followed their arrangement and came to you is not only because I'm afraid of trouble to deal with them, but also because I'm very curious about you. After Damu Jingayu said this, he didn't even notice the dark expression on Li Yu's face, and he was still bragging there, looking lonely, empty and cold. You guy, you really just want to watch the fun. Li Yu didn't expect that he was about to be forced to do something, and Damu Jingayu, the old guy, was still interested in watching the show. If it weren't for Lin Lissy, Li Yu might really have to return to Earth in embarrassment. Li Yu slandered the old guy Damu Jingayu in his heart, but on the surface he still looked like he had nothing to do. After all, Shi Lin Fei still needed help with her identity, so even if she was unhappy, she couldn't show it. Haha, don't mind these details, I'm just joking with you. Well, I guess you're here for her identity, so I won't bother you anymore. After saying this, Jingayu Damu handed a Pokémon encyclopedia to Shilinfei, and then continued, this Pokémon encyclopedia automatically links to the Damu family's network. You just need to fill in your identity information, and then they will help you register in the Alliance, and then you can have a formal identity in the Alliance. Well, thank you, Mr. Damu. Shilinfei thanked Jingayu Damu gratefully, then opened the Pokémon encyclopedia, and began to fill in the information carefully. Mr. Damu, I wonder if you know Damu Mao? Oh, by the way, there's Xiaozi. Suddenly, the bored Liu remembered that the person in front of him was named Damu. Therefore, Liu suddenly asked such a question. Damu Mao, Xiaozi, Liu, how did you know these two names? It seemed that Liu's question touched some taboos, and Jingayu Damu suddenly asked seriously. I just happened to see these two names in the history of the continent's development. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Aren't they super strong people thousands of years ago? Can't I mention them? For some reason, seeing the look of Damu Jingayu, Liu suddenly had endless questions in his heart, wanting to explore the truth behind it. Nothing. Liu, in the future, you'd better not mention the name of Xiaozi in front of other Alliance forces. Remember my words, it won't do you any harm. Damu Jingayu had no desire to explain, but just repeatedly told Liu. Oh, okay. Although he didn't know what happened specifically, the name Xiaozi couldn't even be mentioned. But Liu also knew that there were some things that he couldn't know at his current level, so it was better to be a fool. Finally, Liu, I finally have my own identity, and I can go on adventures with you in the future. About a minute later, Shilinfei happily ran to Liu and showed him an interface of identity information on the Pokémon encyclopedia. Yeah. After responding, Liu looked at Damu Jingayu again and said, Mr. Damu, we have troubled you for so long. It is time for us to leave. It is just right to say goodbye to you here. It will be dark if we don't leave now. After the matter was over, Liu prepared to say goodbye to Damu Jingayu. After all, staying with these family members will always cause unnecessary troubles, because the struggles between families are always cruel. This can be seen from Damu Jingayu's attitude towards the Alliance and his taboo about the name Xiaozi. It can be seen that the Alliance is not as beautiful as imagined. Where there are humans, there will be struggles. Liu believes this sentence very much. Even in a place like the magical continent where peace is supreme, there are also dark forces, conspiracies, and family struggles. And Liu thinks that he'd better stay away from these families, otherwise it will not be fun to be affected. But he didn't think about it. Since he inherited the position of the Divine Beast Master, it means that he has entered the struggle of the continent. It is not so easy to protect himself. Wait a minute, Liu. I think your girlfriend doesn't have an initial elf yet. In this case, why not get one from us? Although it is not the day to get an initial elf, I can open a back door for you. If you want, you can also get one. Our Damu family is famous for studying and cultivating elves, so the initial elves here are definitely the best in talent. Damu Jingayu explained to Liu, especially Shilinfei. As for why Damu Jingayu took the initiative to show his goodwill to Liu, it was because he saw the value and potential in Liu. After all, even the people that the Cheoke clan valued would definitely not be as simple as they seemed on the surface. And he was willing to do a favor. After all, it was just an initial elf, and the Damu family could have as many as they wanted. Initial elf. Before Liu could speak, Shilinfei's eyes were shining, staring at him straight, and the meaning she wanted to express was self-evident. Hey. Well, in that case, thank you Mr. Damu. I'll remember this favor. Although he didn't want to have anything to do with any family, he had to bow his head under the eaves. Since he would have to contact the family power sooner or later, he might as well find a few allies first, which would be more convenient for his future development. After thinking this through, Liu did not reject Damu Jingayu's proposal, but began to consider what kind of elf to choose. After all, only by maximizing the benefits can he not lose the favor. Chapter 99 EV, Sun and Moon Forms. Following Damu Jingayu, Li Yu and the others came to the building, but they didn't know which floor they were on. After all, this research building built by the Damu family was too majestic. Li Yu, this is our elf garden, where we cultivate elves. Damu Jingayu introduced to Li Yu. After walking into it from the steel gate, the scene in front of Li Yu changed drastically in an instant. Originally, he was still in the steel building, but just one door away, it turned into a green grassland. At this time, Li Yu and the others were standing on the balcony, with the steel gate behind them, and endless grassland in front of them, and the mountains in the distance were vaguely visible. It was like a small world, just like Li Yu's system world. Li Yu was also very surprised. After all, this is not a naturally formed secret realm, but a dimensional space forcibly opened up through technology or powerful strength, and it is a dimensional space that can inhabit life. Time and space have always been a problem that humans have been unable to figure out. So you can imagine how difficult it is to open up such a huge world, but they still succeeded. On the grassland in the distance, there were groups of elves, some playing, some relaxing, and some fighting together. You can see all kinds of initial elves here, such as Noonwen Pig, Teng Snake, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, etc. You can even see rare elves such as Slippery, Eevee, Porter, Squirtle, etc. Li Yu, this basically includes all the initial elves of our family. Take a look and see if you like any of them. Handing a computer-like instrument to Li Yu, Damu Jingayu said to Li Yu and Shilinfei. Yeah. After answering, Li Yu and Shilinfei checked the elf information displayed on the instrument. Li Yu, what do you think of this? It's so cute. And this. But then Li Yu found that it seemed that letting Shilinfei choose the elves was a wrong decision. It was completely an appearance association. Those who were not good looking were not accepted. They didn't know how to choose elves at all. But Li Yu didn't care. Anyway, he didn't plan to let Shilinfei become so powerful. As long as Li Yu can be strong enough to protect the people he cares about, it will be enough. Well, it is indeed very cute, as long as you like it. Li Yu simply stopped forcing anything, and let Shilinfei choose freely, while he began to carefully check the information of these Pokémon. Well, Charmander, no, I already have one, forget it. Squirtle and Bulbasaur, no, I don't like them. Hey, this Pokémon is not bad. Zoroark not only has the talent for transformation, but also happens to be the Pokémon of the dark type that I lack now. And Slippery and Porter are also very rare and worth having. After looking at most of the Pokémon, Li Yu finally chose 3 Pokémon as alternatives. Because he was a little entangled in his heart, he still needed to think carefully. Okay, Li Yu, I will choose this Eevee. It's so cute. Look. Suddenly, Shilinfei shouted in surprise, pointing to an Eevee on the screen, who was leisurely basking in the sun, and said to Li Yu. Looking at the place where Shilinfei pointed, Li Yu saw a strange Eevee lying on a big rock, basking in the sun with his eyes slightly narrowed. This Eevee was different from the others. His hair was not brown, but a strange color of pink on the left and black on the right. At first glance, Li Yu knew that this Eevee was definitely a rare mutant. Sure enough, when Shilinfei and Li Yu were looking at the screen and saw Shilinfei's final choice, Damu Jingayu suddenly interrupted and said, "We found this Eevee in the poison forest. At that time, he was just an elf egg. When we found him, the sun was at its hottest, but it was cold as ice around him. But when we brought him back to the institute, we found that he would be extremely hot at midnight. So we think he should be a special mutant, and after hatching, his appearance also confirmed our guess. But what we didn't expect is that maybe, because he has both the sun and the moon, he has no way to evolve. Or maybe we haven't found a way. In short, this Eevee was placed here helplessly. Even though he is talented, no one chose him as the initial elf. After all, an Eevee that cannot evolve, no matter how talented he is, will ultimately have limited achievements. This Eevee is so pitiful. He is so cute and so powerful, but no one chose him. In this case, leave it to me. I will definitely cultivate him into the most powerful elf." Shilinfei complained indignantly about the trainers, who gave up Eevee. "Well, it's okay. If you decide to choose this Eevee, I will send you there right away, but I don't know whether he will agree to go with you," said Damu Jingayu. "I will definitely get his approval." Shi Linfei clenched her fists, and she seemed to have little confidence, so she could only cheer herself up in this way. After all, she had never been in contact with it before, so it was inevitable that she was a little nervous. Then I'll trouble you, Mr. Damu. I have also chosen my Pokémon, and I want this Zoroark. I wonder if Mr. Damu will feel bad? While Shi Linfei and Damu Jingai were talking, Liu also thought about it, and finally decided to choose Zoroark. This is not only because Zoroark's talent is higher than the other Pokémon, but also because Liu needs and likes this Pokémon very much. With a slight smile, Damu Jingai didn't say anything, and directly took Liu and Shi Linfei to the place where Eevee was. Perhaps because of its unusual appearance, Eevee has always been a loner, just like the water otter, not recognized by its own kind. However, this Eevee didn't care about anything at all, probably because of its personality, so it never complained about being alone, and was even more indifferent to being ignored. When it saw Liu and the others coming, Eevee just glanced at them lightly, and then continued to lie lazily on the stone, and take a nap. But in the depths of his eyes, there was a flash of yearning, desire, and loneliness. It was hard for Liu to imagine what he must have experienced to reveal so many emotions in an instant. Chapter 100 Rare Spirit, Soraya. It's up to you now. Oki Jingai said to Shi Linfei, and then stood quietly aside. Come on, believe that you can do it. Looking at Shi Linfei with encouraging eyes, Liu actually wanted her to get this Eevee. Yes. Shi Linfei took a deep breath, and then walked towards Eevee with a firm look. After coming to Eevee, Shi Linfei looked at him with sincerity and said, Hello, Eevee. My name is Shi Linfei. I like you very much. Can you be my starting Pokémon? I will take good care of you in the future. I know that others don't think highly of you, but that's just because they don't have vision. I believe you can become stronger and make those people regret their original choice. And I'm willing to grow up with you, achieve better results together, and become stronger. Are you willing to take risks with me, travel together, and fight together? It was the first time that Liu saw Shi Linfei doing something so seriously, and he immediately had a feeling of looking at Shi Linfei with new eyes. Eevee, go away, I don't need a trainer. Turning over, Eevee ignored Shi Linfei and continued to sleep with his eyes closed. Eevee. Although she didn't understand what Eevee said, Shi Linfei could understand his answer just by looking at his movements. Eevee, are you just going to give up on yourself? Think about those trainers who rejected you and didn't think highly of you. Think about the experience of being ignored and rejected by them. Don't you want to prove yourself and let them see your true potential? If you don't have any desire to become stronger, then you are really a waste. Seeing Eevee's laziness and lack of pursuit, Liu felt very sympathetic towards him, but was more angry at him for not fighting. Eevee, what do you know? Do you know how I feel? Being abandoned and ignored again and again. Can you imagine the pain I feel? Well, yes, I don't understand, but I won't give up easily because of this. In fact, I can understand your feelings, because I'm the same as you. My strength is stagnant and I can't make any progress. But I didn't give up. Although my strength is still improving at a snail's pace, I believe that, as long as I persist, I will eventually become a strong man. Thinking of his current experience, which is very similar to Eevee's, Liu's words are also emotional. Eevee. Perhaps Liu's words played a role. Eevee's attitude was obviously a little hesitant, obviously touching the weakest part of his heart. Eevee. Staring straight at Eevee, Shi Linfei looked forward to hearing a definite answer. Eevee. With a loud shout like venting, Eevee looked at Liu and didn't say anything. Then he jumped directly to Shi Linfei and stood quietly, obviously recognizing Shi Linfei as his trainer. Great, Eevee, we are partners from now on. Let's work hard together. Squatting down, Shi Linfei gently picked up Eevee, stroked his soft fur, and said happily, Eevee. With narrowed eyes, Eevee lay comfortably in Shi Linfei's arms. Although he has always been indifferent to trainers, it is also because he is often abandoned and rejected by trainers, so he hides his inner loneliness with indifference. Liu smiled knowingly, sincerely happy for Shi Linfei. Mr. Oak, can you take me to Zoroark? Seeing that Fifi has a new partner, I can't wait to meet him. With excitement, Liu really wanted to get Zoroark. In addition to winning the battle, the most exciting moment for trainers is the joining of new partners. Being able to get more Pokémon and adventure with them, live together, and fight together. For trainers, it is definitely their happiest and most meaningful thing. Well, let's go. Several people headed towards the gathering place of the Soraya again. On the way, under the introduction of Okijingayu, Liu also learned the information of the Soraya tribe. Because Soraya is also a very rare elf, even if the Oki family cultivates it with all their strength, there is only a small tribe of more than a dozen. Therefore, although Liu wants to get a Soraya, he still has no confidence in whether he can get the recognition of the Soraya tribe and take away their family members. We are here, Liu. The Soraya live in this forest because they are very xenophobic, so you can only go in by yourself. I wish you good luck. I hope you can get their recognition. Standing at the edge of the forest, Okijingayu stopped and said to Liu, "Well, Fifi, wait for me here for a while. I'll be back soon." After saying something to Shilinfi, Liu went straight into the forest. Lappy. Liu, where is this place? Where are you going? Just as Liu walked into the forest and was about to look for Zorok, Celebi, who had been sleeping on Liu's head, suddenly woke up, but was drowsy and looked like he hadn't woken up yet. We are now in the breeding garden of the Oak family in the dimensional space, and I'm going to subdue a Zorok living in this forest. But because I don't know where they live, I'm looking for them now. After telling Celebi about the current situation, Liu set out again to look for them. Hey, Zorok. A very good elf. Liu, you have a good eye. Moreover, it's not easy to know where they are. I know. Follow me. Celebi said, and left Liu's head, waving his little wings, and flew towards a certain direction in the forest. Hey, stop running around. Wait for me. Liu yelled, and hurriedly sped up, to barely keep up with Celebi. Although Celebi is not big, it is a guardian beast after all. So even if he can slow down, Liu can still barely keep up. Under the leadership of Celebi, Liu quickly found the gathering place of the Zoroarks. At this moment, the Zoroarks were training under the leadership of Zorok, who was obviously the leader. Shoo. Human. Why are you invading our territory? As soon as he saw Liu, the leading Zorok immediately became unfriendly and stood between Liu and those young Zoroarks, fearing that Liu would do something wrong. Hello, Zorok. I'm a trainer. My name is Liu. I want to be Zorok's adventure partner. I hope you can give me this opportunity, please. After telling Zorok about his purpose, Liu was a little nervous and looked at Zorok's reaction with some expectation. New author, new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment please. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.